Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we are answering your YouTube questions. And if you're watching this on the replay, I do want to let you know that we put timestamps down into the video description. So if you have any questions that you're like, hey, I wonder if he talked about this, make sure that you hit the description so you can see exactly what we talked about, jump to the sections that matter the most to you. Or if you want to learn a bunch of stuff about YouTube and have a good time, then just sit back and listen to the stream, and you're going to learn a ton about YouTube. But when I say that we are answering your YouTube questions, I mean myself and my brother from the same mother, D. D, what is going on?
How was your week, everybody? Hope you had an amazing week. Hope you hit those milestones. Yeah. We're going to answer YouTube questions today. So I already told you, if you have a question, head down to the description. We have a link down in the description. It's going to pop up in a form. Put your question in the form, or you can go to
nicknimmin.com/ask.
nicknimmin.com/ask, and you can do it that way in case you can't figure out how to navigate through a description. Do we have any YouTube news?
So as a matter of fact, we do. We actually have news on a few different things. But first, before we do, I just want to shout out Opus Clip right here at the front of the stream. Opus Clip is a sponsor of the channel. So when it comes to Opus Clip, they are a tool that helps you take one long-form video and turn it into a bunch of either vertical videos or mid-form videos that you can repurpose to other platforms, or sometimes even fill in the gaps when it comes to the content that you're making if you can't be consistent. So you can check that out and see all I can do for you at opusclip.com, or you can go to tryopusnow if you want .com if you want to give me like a affiliate hookup on that if you haven't checked out Opus Clip before. But when it comes to the YouTube news, we have that they are making updates to the promote option on YouTube. So you can now find that inside of your main app on YouTube. And each promotion is now contained in its own feed, so you can see all of your campaigns. So if you have multiple videos that you're promoting, then you can see everything in there. But look, when it comes to this, I'm saying this and letting you know that it's there because YouTube did put out that information. But when it comes to using that particular thing, one of the ways that they're framing it is, one, to help you get more views. The other one is to help you grow your audience. And I just want to give you a warning that when it comes to spending money for those types of things, the things that, like the thing that actually helps you is learning how to make content that people will respond to. So I recommend that unless you have a product to sell or something like that, that you do not use that particular service. And in addition to that, even if you do have something to sell, like I would just put it on another channel and sell it from there and just run ads on it from there instead of doing it on your main channel. Because if you're new at YouTube, and I'm just going to explain why this is a problem. So if you're new at YouTube and you spend a bunch of money on advertising anywhere on the internet, it doesn't matter where it is, even if you bought a billboard or TV commercials, and you're spending money to bring attention to what it is that you're doing, if you still haven't learned all the best practice stuff in terms of getting people, how to get people to click on your videos, how to make content that's a perfect fit for the people that you're trying to reach, how to, once they come into your video, how to capture their attention, and all those best practice things that we all have to learn how to do. If you haven't learned how to do that, as soon as you stop spending money, then everything's going to dry up, because even though you had a lot of people interacting with your channel during those times, what can happen is if you don't know how to do those things, because, especially because you're new, then in that case, what can happen is you publish that next video, but if you still can't get people to click, or it's not about something that those people that you got your advertised video in front of, then those people still aren't going to click on it. And if you can get them to click, but you can't retain them in the video, or create that satisfactory experience for them there, then it's still not going to perform well. So because of that, I just don't recommend using that particular feature, but I did just want to let you know about the update. But I just wanted to throw that disclaimer in there. Next, Shorts feed. This is a big one here. So when it comes to the Shorts feed, they are making it to where you can also see posts in there. So how it seems to be working is that you have the actual short, and then you can scroll up on the short, and then you can see that creator's community feed posts. So the awesome thing about that is, I know one of the conversations that we have a lot here during this live stream is people are like, hey, how do I get short form viewers into my long form content? Well, this is a huge opportunity. Yeah. The reason it's a huge opportunity is because as long as this feature rolls out and people are responsive to it, then what's going to happen is you're going to have text posts, you're going to have polls, but you're an image post and all that stuff, but you're also going to have the opportunity to put playlists and videos in there like you can already do. But when somebody's watching it on a short, and then they're watching one of your shorts, and then they scroll up and then they see your community tab there, they can have a direct link to one of your long form videos right there as well. So that gives you an additional opportunity to where right now you have that related video link. If you are trying to get people over there, then you have that related video link that you can use. But if you want to use that as well, you can, but you can also use this as just a means to make it easier for people to find more of your content if they're really enjoying the shorts that they're watching from you.
Do we know if the community post shows up only if they're watching shorts from your channel?
Yes, it's for that creator's channel.
Right, only for that creator's channel.
Yes. Yeah.
So nothing's going to happen to the actual short feed itself.
Right.
It's only if someone is on your channel, they go to the shorts feed, the shorts tab on your channel. And
to my understanding, yes.
Right, and they start looking at shorts that way. So I wonder if this is going to be something where every single time they swipe a short, they're going to see a different post.
Like it's part of the container, I think.
Or, right. So it's going to be like here.
Yeah, so it doesn't show up by default. You have to actually like see the post, right? So you have to take the action to actually pull it up to see the posts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but right, if you're on the feed though, you swipe and then you're going to see the post.
No. You swipe and then you're going to see another video. But if you pull up, then you are going to see the community post from that particular creator.
It's a pull up, not within the swipe.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So actually, it's a button.
It's
it's a button on the shorts to look at the post.
So look at the post.
Yeah.
Okay. So the button
in the demo, I thought they were pulling it up.
So it's a button that's going to activate. Thanks, Doug. It's a button that's going to activate the community post feed to show up like a tray. Essentially, it's going to come up a shelf. Otherwise, they can just keep swiping.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so it'll all be contained in that same container, I guess, with the short.
Gotcha.
As part of like, just like, the description and all that stuff. If you click into, you can find it.
Makes sense. Hey, Doug, while you're in here, if you posted it last week, I apologize. I went back and looked for it and I couldn't find it. Can you post the name of the app or the software that you said you were running your iOS screen recordings through to deal with the frame rate issue? Thank you.
And one additional thing before we get into answering the questions, and just as a reminder, if this is your first time here, we have a link down in the description where you can put your questions and we will get them answered on the stream here today. But
we're also going to do some channel reviews.
Yeah, we are. We're going to do some channel reviews and we got some fun stuff that we're going to do today. But one more update. If you are someone that is using the new creator app that I published recently, I just pushed an update today. So now you don't have to connect your Google account to it. So if you want to see your stats, if you want to see your channel name, and you want the QR code and you want to track monetization, then you still need to connect for that. But for all the core functionality of the app, you don't have to connect your account anymore. And instead of having the thing up at the top that was kind of ugly, where if you didn't connect it, it just had the big notice up there to connect your Google account, you can hit the update button now inside of the App Store and it will update the app. And then now, if you see that, you're going to have a little dismiss button next to the option to connect to Google, and you just hit that dismiss button, and then all of that stuff is going to go away, and it's going to make it all nice and clean for you as well. So then it focuses more on the content of the home feed there, instead of that big connect your Google account thing being in your face all the time. So that's available now. And in addition to that, the thumbnail inspector was having some issues on like super slow connections. So for example, if you're on like cellular plus you had a VPN going, then every now and then you would get a error because it would time out. So what was happening there is the prompt that actually goes up for that, it's long, and then the responses that are coming back is long. So what I needed to do was actually make it to where it would just respond in a more concise way. So so the time on that though has been cut down to about half now, which is good. And I haven't ran into any of those errors yet. So hopefully you won't either, but if you do, definitely give me feedback on it.
And in other news, for those of you who are a little bit older, they announced there's going to be a Spaceballs Part 2.
Yeah,
Mel Brooks.
Let's talk about the real stuff now.
Mel Brooks.
The stuff that matters.
Mel Brooks' Spaceballs Part 2 is
Yep.
coming out in 2027. And that's really the only purpose for me being here today,
Yep.
because I just wanted to help push that information out there.
Let more people know.
May the Schwartz be with you,
Yeah.
as he said, yeah. That was such a fun movie back then.
It was.
Yeah, we'll
I mean,
see.
it's fun now too.
Yeah, we'll see. Yes, excited for that. That's right. Yeah, I hope they can capture that quirkiness. Because, man, they used to make some crazy movies back in the day.
They did.
Yeah.
You ready to get in some questions, V?
Ed, that is not going to fly today. But, yeah, let's get into some questions.
All right, what do you say?
He said we need another
Blazing Saddles?
Another Blazing Saddles. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly today.
So the very first question that we have today is from Daniel Krieg. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
It's Daniel Craig, James Bond
Daniel
actor.
Craig, yeah, he's in here like,
He's in
hey
here.
guys, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting
Good old
started.
Blue Eyes is in here. Yeah.
He's getting started on YouTube.
Yeah. So, Daniel Krieg or Craig, they've been on YouTube for less than a year, upload one time per week or more. The goal of the channel is to have fun. And the question is, my audience retention on long form videos is terrible. What do I do? So there's a few factors that go into the performance of long form videos. So of course you have people clicking on it, then you have people watching it, obviously, right? But one thing, the very first thing to look at is how you're actually setting up the video in the first place. And the reason that you want to look at that is if your thumbnail and title are promising one thing, and then people click on that and then they go into the video and it doesn't seem like they're going to get that thing, or like that thing is happening, or there's going to be anything that's leading into that thing, then that can negatively impact your audience retention because people will kind of think they're being clickbaited, right? And they will, bail because of that, because they're not getting, any clue in terms of, hey, this thing that I am signing up for by clicking on this video, it's just not, happening, and they'll leave. So then, as long as that part is okay, and you're like, hey, I'm not misleading people, I'm not clickbaiting, and the expectation that I might be setting with my thumbnail and title, that's exactly what I'm giving in the video, and I make it clear, and you're doing all of those things, then let's talk about what happens next. So when somebody comes into your video, I actually have a video that you should watch about how to start your YouTube videos, and I have another one coming on how to end them. But I've already got like old ones on the channel, but just a refreshed version of it. But basically, when it comes to starting your videos, you need to make sure that you are, one, making it about the viewer when possible. And I go into detail about that in that particular video. Two, you want to make sure you're not wasting their time with things that they don't care about. Three, like logo intros, big, long, verbal introductions, things like that. And in addition to that, you also want to make sure that you are getting them to, the thing that will either serve whatever it is that you set up for your thumbnail and title, or that you start letting them know that they're in the right place for that, and then you start getting into the actual content itself. So when it comes to audience retention, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to that. Even little things are weird, like, the music that you choose can make a difference. How fast or slow you talk for the type of people that are interacting with the content can make a difference. How quickly
you positioned yourself. Like if you're like in a weird position, you just might feel
uncomfortable. It can make it feel weird, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your audio could be bad. Your microphone could have some weird sound to it. You might have a ton of wet, sloppy noises in your mouth. There's a million reasons why people might click off.
Yep. You might be too obnoxious, in the content, comes in, and based on the type of people that are interacting with your content, it might be too over the top for that crowd. And therefore, even though other channels get away with it, maybe for your audience, it's just not right.
That's key, your audience. So the people who, you have to make sure that the people you're trying to attract are the people that are actually watching your video. So if you think, well, I'm trying to bring in a certain type of audience, therefore I want to act a certain way or produce a certain type of content, but YouTube is showing your content to a different audience, it might not work. Mm-hmm. Your energy level might be too high, or it might be too low. Yep. You might be editing too quickly or too slowly. Mm-hmm. Everything, there's so many variables here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even when you've been doing this for a while, this is something that you're still going to wrestle with because your audience changes over time.
Yeah.
Roger Wakefield in the house.
Roger Wakefield, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Hope that you are doing great.
Diana Dobson says I should hit my 4K watch hours in the next week or so.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, way to go.
Congratulations. Love seeing that progress.
Yep.
Next up on the list, we've got Divine Design. Divine Design does daily content, but on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do religious reflections and worship songs. Goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, let's see here. Thanks for all your help and the app. Listening to your advice, I launched my channel 4 months ago and have 280 videos and 108 subs. It's definitely been a learning process, but it's very, very slow slog. But I suppose this is the norm. Is this typical? So you do have a lot of videos. I'm going to guess that you're probably doing shorts. I'm going to go, oh yeah, you say been experimenting with shorts to build channel subs. Okay, so I was going to mention that, that's a lot of content for the result that you've had on that content. But you are making progress, which is good. So one thing when it comes to you doing this over the course of 4 months and cranking out 280 videos over the course of 4 months, one, I think it's fantastic that you're being aggressive, but I think that you might want to experiment. If you're not doing this already, you might already have this under control, but you might want to just make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to analyze what's happening, with your content. Like, for example, I see one video, I'm looking at your shorts right now, and I see one here that has like 316 views. A lot of them have, less. We got another one here with 400. So I would start looking at the ones that perform better and try to dig into those and try to be like, okay, why do I think these particular ones did better? What was I saying when it first started? What was I showing when it first started? Because it looks like you're using a lot of B-roll imagery here. And I would just start trying start trying to dig into that side of things, so you can start kind of notching up, slowly as you go. Because right now you do have a lot of content in here. And another thing too is, let me make sure this is muted, and I'm just going to click on one.
You're watching one?
Yeah, so another thing too is, like, with the way these are being put together, it looks like you might be using like a tool or something to just make a bunch of these and get them up. If not, then you are, you're putting these in there yourself. But basically, when it comes to shorts, it looks like you just have one long slowed down. Yeah, it is just one long slowed down clip of like a fireworks show, right? So when it comes to making content, one of the important things to make sure that you're always being mindful about when it comes to making content is that everything that you're creating creates an experience for the people that you are, or that are interacting with your content. So because of that, you have to think to yourself, okay, if I'm doing this long, stretched out B-roll clip of fireworks while I'm, talking, because I couldn't listen to it, because we're streaming. But if I'm doing this long, drawn out clip of fireworks, how is that going to keep the viewer engaged in what it is that I'm talking about, right? And you also, it didn't look like you had captions in there, I believe, as well. And if you are just going to be relying on voice by itself, you should also make sure that you have captions in your videos as well, because maybe you did. Hold on.
Do they have them?
Hold on, I'm looking here real quick. Yeah, they're saying like what the Bible verse is, but it doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to be changing that much. Yeah, some of them you've got like a couple of clips you're changing, stuff like that. But yeah, I would really lean hard into like, okay, if I was watching this and I ran across it, like what about this would keep me interested in this content? And in some cases that could be you hopping on camera and, talking to the viewer that's watching that. Other cases, it could just mean that you are, being more mindful about, having multiple clips in there, that type of thing. But I would definitely start working on the production side. And you're putting out volume right now, which is good in a lot of cases in terms of, it gives you a lot to experiment with and start to see what people respond to and what they don't. But when it comes to, and here you mentioned that the video is to accompany a song. If that's related to this channel here, oh no, I don't think it is. But if it is, in that case, you got to remember that, people like YouTube is a audio and a visual experience, right? So because of that, especially in YouTube Shorts, it's important to think about, okay, if somebody's going to come in here, one, are they going to sit here and listen to a song? Two, if they are, then how can I make this more entertaining to them so they have a visual element to it while they're listening to it as well, right? So I would definitely just work on the production side there. If you do want your, videos to be better received, so that you can, give yourself, a better foundation to grow off of. Because right now, when you are flooding the platform with content that people aren't responding to well, then what can happen is because you're so in motion with just publishing, that it can kind of take time away from sitting back and being like, okay, maybe it might be better if I spent more time on, like, the time that it would take me to do 3 videos, let me spend that time on 1 video and just see if it makes a difference, right? And going through that process so that you can, through that, learn to create a better experience for the viewers that are interacting with the content. But just so you know, because one of the things that you're asking here is, I suppose this is the norm. Is this typical? What you're going through right now, absolutely, yes, it is normal. So a lot of content creators, they'll come on the platform, they'll publish tons of videos before they get any momentum at all. That is a normal thing that happens on YouTube. But the ones that start changing that quickly are the ones that are like, okay, he just said to go through and, see if I can, work on trying to create a better experience. Therefore, I'm going to go and I'm going to, try to make it a better experience. You should be watching other channels that do similar things to what you're doing with your content that are getting results, and compare yours to theirs in terms of, okay, when I start theirs and when I start mine, how does theirs start and how does mine start? What's the difference here with these ones that are doing well compared to mine? And start, breaking all those things down so that you can, so you can figure out, how to make content that is a slam dunk for the people that you are serving with your content. Brian G. Johnson in the house is up, dude. Brian G. Johnson is the author of Tube Ritual version 1 here. I think he's making another one of these, but basically with this, helps you grow your channel from 0 to 5,000 subscribers and more because it teaches you all the foundational best practice stuff. Check that out. Just look for Tube Ritual on Amazon. You can also join his Facebook group, which is also by the same name as well. So if you look for Tube Ritual, if you are on Facebook, great group for YouTubers over there. Lauricia, what's going on? Catherine, what's up? Hope you are doing great. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got Colton Adams. They upload when they have time, but on YouTube for a year or more. The goal is to be a full-time creator. And the question is, how do I know if a thumbnail format is a winner, and why are my thumbnails not great? So I've really been focusing on increasing retention, but I think my thumbnails are lackluster. So the way that you know if a thumbnail format is a winner is you just check your click-through rate compared to impressions, and if those thumbnails typically get a higher click-through rate, then that tells you that you're at least onto something. When it comes to thumbnails, though, keep in mind that a thumbnail isn't the only thing that impacts click-through rate. You have the thumbnail itself, you have the topic of the video, which is huge when it comes to impact your click-through rate, and you have your title as well, and you have the autoplay, technically. So because of that, sometimes your thumbnails are okay, but everything else isn't, or sometimes, one of those elements are off, and it can negatively impact your click-through rate. But I am going to pull your channel up here real quick. We're not going to pull it on screen yet, because we're not at that part of the stream yet. But right here, 5 days as a Marine in a military simulator. Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting content. Oh, you're doing gaming stuff. Okay. Yeah, so since you are doing gaming stuff, that could be like when I see this from the outside and I like this looks like something that might be like a real life experience that I might watch. And then if I were to click on this, it looks like a game. And since it looks like a game, that autoplay would actually stop me from clicking on this because it looks like a game from right here. Yeah, all of these do, actually. Yeah, so the ones that make sense, like this Minecraft one, right? You're setting it up as a game, and then that way when you hover over it, it's clearly the game, so you're making that perfect connection there. But when you're like 24 hours to build my empire, like that sort of thing, and you have 5 days as a Marine in a, well, you do say a military simulator, so you are kind of covering that a little bit. But anyway, I think your thumbnails are actually okay, but the ones that have like the 100 days in a old Minecraft nearly broke me. I think, a little bit more emphasis because people responded well to that particular video. So you got people clicking on that one. But I think, a little bit more emphasis on the Minecraft imagery. So it's a little bit more obvious, I think would definitely be helpful. But yeah, I think you're on the right path with your thumbnails, really. I think a lot of these look okay. And I like how you're doing your day 1, day 100 challenges, 1 hour, hour 24, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think you're on the right path with your thumbnails. But you definitely want to go in and look at your click-through rate. But here's what you have in your favor right now. Is you have a video 4 months ago with 6.3 thousand views on it. I would just discount the ones from 3 years ago. And then you have these other ones where you have 3 months ago, 1 month ago, and then 10 hours ago. I would go into that 6.3 and I would just look at the click-through rate there and just track it back in time and say, okay, for this one on the first day, what was my click-through rate? Go into your traffic sources report for this. Like, what was my click-through rate on home pages for this? So that you can start to just get an idea for the videos that have performed better. What did they look like? And that can help you just identify if you might need to change something when you first publish the videos. But overall, I think your thumbnails, I think you're doing okay because like this military one, because you do in the title say it's a military simulator, but for the thumbnail, I think the thumbnail's solid itself. Same with the Minecraft one. So yeah, I think your thumbnails are on point. I think one thing that you definitely need to work on though is consistency because, like 10 hours ago, good. 1 month ago, 3 months ago, so you had a 2-month break between, those two videos. And then another month for the one prior, and then another month for the one prior to that. So I think you're just not giving yourself the chance, right? I would definitely work on a more consistent schedule so that you can keep showing up for the people that are interested in your content. Next up. Davidson's All Natural Gym. What is going on? iFriend Chris, thank you for the super chat, my dude. Appreciate it. Says, I noticed he had his iced coffee. He did. He's always drinking the iced coffee. It's his favorite. Jerry, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Diane Dobson, hello. Welcome to the stream. JustBook TV. Hope you're doing great. So Next up on our list here, we've got Davidson's All Natural Gym, does bi-weekly content. The type of channel is sawmill/farmstead. The goal of the channel is to have fun. And the question is, can you explain the banner for TV and computer and phone? I just can't understand it. Absolutely. So when it comes to, and let me just go to a channel here. I'll just go to mine to make this easy. So when it comes to, let me switch to this tab. Yeah, so when it comes to your header, basically you have the option for a full TV view. So if you're a TV viewer, some of this is going to get cut off by like, text and things like that on the screen. But the parts that are important are, here in the middle. And then on a TV, this area like right around in here is the, important parts. When it comes to a mobile device, this is what you see on a phone. You can see this if you just pull up your channel on a phone right now. And then for a computer view, this is about what you see on the desktop view. So the whole idea is just when you're doing your channel art to optimize the things that are the most important to make sure that they are visible there. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be something that like all of a sudden your channel is going to start like thriving or anything because you did that. It's just one of those things that you do to, kind of tidy things up a bit, right? To make sure that like everything you're doing. So if you have a video blow up and people go and start exploring everything it is that you're doing, then you have everything ready to absorb all of that, right? So it's more about that than it is anything. But yeah, it's best practice to make sure that your channel art, it does have like a clear value proposition on it. Again, not required, just helpful. And that it is optimized for all of the devices. Next up. Okay, next up on our list, we've got Mazzy Artistry. And by the way, if you are just joining us, there is a form. It's down in the description, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it here too. nickniman.ask.com/ask. Yeah, so if you go there, I just dropped the link into the chat. You can go and drop your question into the form. And if you are watching from like Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else, then or LinkedIn, then you can go to nickniman.com/ask, and it will send you to that same exact form. Let's see here. So next up on the list, we might have a little something extra to help coming soon. Curious what that is. Oh, he's got a video on that. Okay, nice. Love it. So next up, we have Mazzy Artistry. They upload when they have time. They've been making videos for less than a year. The type of channel is art storytelling about superheroes and villains. That's cool. And the question is, this question is technically not for this channel I'm on now. Well, it kind of is, but it isn't. I have another channel which I upload for fun called Softy Stroll Adventures. I play with my plushies and puppets to make stories. How do I balance pumping out content on my main channel here and there? I have no schedule because I can't follow one, but I want to upload more on that channel. So if you can't follow a schedule, then it's going to be challenging because then you're going to be doing things on a whim instead of doing things because they need to get done. So right now, let me check your goal again. Connect with others who like what you like. Okay. So yeah, in this case, you want to make sure that you are, giving yourself the best possible chance with connecting with others who like what you like. And the way that you do that is you do keep showing up. If your goal isn't to be like full-time or to like really blow up the channel or something like that, then, consistency isn't, that big of a deal. However, if you are consistent and you stick to a schedule of some kind, it can be helpful because then people know your videos are coming out at that time. You consistently are publishing videos, and that keeps you in the recent view history of people so that when you publish something new, the people that are engaged in it, YouTube is likely to, recommend that new content to them as long as they think it's a good fit for that viewer. So you're just giving yourself more opportunities if you figure out how to stay more consistent. So, my answer to that is typically to schedule it, just like you schedule going to school or to work or, wherever it is you're at in life. But you schedule those things, and because you schedule those things, you get them done. If you do that same exact thing with a schedule when it comes to YouTube, then it gives you the opportunity to get those things done as well, because then when you schedule them, and if you commit to that schedule, then it becomes a priority, right? And then once it becomes that priority, then you will be more likely to ensure that it happens. I agree with Kiwi GI, says smash that like button. Yeah. Do it. Smash it. Smash it. Smash the whole page, actually, while you're there. Okay. So next up, we've got Gardening with Bear Brown. uploads 1 time per week or more, does educational content. The goal of the channel is to quit their job and to be a full-time creator. And the question is, how can you turn companies who reach out for product reviews into long-term partnerships? So far, I was only able to turn one into a long-term deal. How do you have a hard time, or did you have a hard time in the beginning? So once you find things that are in alignment and they also do influencer marketing and they understand the value in the long-term contracts, it becomes easier, right? It's not for everybody. Not all companies want to do that. Some companies, they just prefer to have like little campaigns that they do, and they'll work with a bunch of different creators on those campaigns, and then they'll move on. And then they'll have that as like part of their, yearly cycle or quarterly cycle that they do. And then other people are like, we want long-term contracts. And when it comes to the long-term contracts, the way that you get those is, one, to make sure that you do have a plan in place when you are talking to, that person at that company, or, the person that's going to be making those calls, because you can do it to where you're just giving videos where it's like, okay, as a part of this, I'm going to publish, a video per month for this many months, or a video per quarter for this many quarters. You can also do it to where you work in more of a brand ambassador capacity. And with that, that comes to where, maybe you're showing up on their channel sometimes, maybe you're doing, other things with that brand, to where it's not just making videos from time to time, but it's like making videos plus these other things. There's other things that you can do, like in your case, because you're doing gardening. So if you start working with gardening products, then you can become, part of their feedback team, where you are giving them, feedback. Like in the software world, we do that to where, if we work with companies and they have software, then, we try to work with them to where we try, over the length of our contract, we try to work with them to make their products even better, so that the people that we're recommending them to will have an even better experience. And all of that stuff gets worked into those deals. So when it comes to those long-term contracts, it's about coming up with what it is that you have to offer, what it is that you're comfortable offering. And sometimes it's just videos, and I've done plenty of those too. Sometimes it's just videos, and that's perfectly okay. But when you can come up with additional things to offer, then it basically, what it is, it's not just what can I offer, it's what can I offer that will clearly add value to that company that's reaching out, right? It's more about that. And then once you get that stuff defined, then being able to present those things when you're on those, calls about those deals, are the ways to do that. And as like a part of that,
a package.
Yeah, package. Yeah.
A package.
And as a part of that also, hopping on calls is also great. Because then you get to have conversations, you get to ask them questions, in terms of, what they're trying to accomplish and how you can, help, and, all those things. So it just makes the whole thing, a lot easier. And it's just good too, because it also gives you a better understanding of exactly what it is that they need. And when you know what you have to offer, then you can say like, oh, that's what they're trying to do. I can do this, 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 and this, right? So yeah. And when it comes to long form or long term, you don't have to do a year, right? Like you can do 6 months. If you wanted to, you can do 3 months. Some people will, take that route. Other people will do long term, where it's like 6 months or more. There's other things that happen too, like, depending on what it is that you're doing, like if you start driving a lot of traffic, sometimes you can get like equity and things like that as well as a content creator. But again, there has to be a value exchange there. Like they're not just going to give it to you. There needs to be, some type of value they're getting out of you as well in order for them to offer those sorts of things. But, all kinds of different things that you can do when it comes to brand deals.
Yep.
Build Fix with Mini, what's up?
It's also a numbers game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, every company.
Most companies do not want long-term deals.
Right. And not every company, not only do they not all want, like long-term, like year-long deals, but I actually don't think that I've ever had anybody turn me down when I've tried to turn one video into multiple videos.
Yeah.
So like my limit, after I thought like, hey, I should just see if I can get more than one video instead of just getting one.
Yeah.
As soon as I started trying that, I went with a minimum of 3.
Yeah.
And everybody from that point took it. Right.
Yeah.
So like you can absolutely, at least turn that one into more. But when it comes to long form, it just has to be a good fit. And sometimes it's not always, a good fit on your end too. Right. Because there's other things that you have to think about as a creator. Like, for example, if you are going to be working with this company, like looking at them and being like, OK, what changes do they have? What kind of reputation do they have? What type of things do they have planned that I think are going to add value to my audience? What videos do I think I'm going to be able to make to bring attention to them? And if you can't come up with those, then, you might not, want to do it on your end also.
Yeah, there are other things.
Because it's an exchange. The whole thing is an exchange.
Right. If you're looking for a long-term partnership, and it could be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you're in the gardening niche. One of the things that you could offer them as part of, I'll do X amount of mentions in a video, or I'll do X amount of videos about a particular product. And I'll also make sure that I'm using your tools exclusively, for example.
Yeah, that exclusive thing's a big deal.
Right. I'll use send me all of your tools. I will make sure anytime I'm digging or doing whatever, I'm using your tools exclusively. You know, you can work all sorts of, you know, I'll wear your t-shirt.
Right.
You know, if there's things where I'm going to be in the video, I'll wear your t-shirts, or if you have gloves that are branded, I'll wear those.
Yep.
I don't know if you go to events or anything like. Whoa.
Okay, so we're probably going to lose the stream here. So
did we just go offline?
I'm not sure if we actually did. Hold on.
I think we're still online.
Are we?
Yeah, we didn't lose. Did you guys see that?
Everything else went down.
Did you guys see that? We just had like a power surge here.
Oh, I guess we are still here.
Yeah, we didn't go offline, surprisingly.
No way.
Did you guys see that? Did you see the lights flicker?
Still on. Wow.
Wow, we're still live.
Wonder how that happened.
I'm going to, you take this. I'm going to look around to see if a fuse blew or something.
Okay.
That was really weird.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
I need to do some.
Yep. I guess it was open enough just to make it work. That's great. Nice. I'm actually kind of excited about that. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. So next up on the so on the brand deals though, but like Dee mentioned, you know, having packages is also helpful, because then it's like, okay, when it comes to the packages, you know, I can do one video, but it's going to be like super expensive, or I can do like 3 videos and it'll be a little bit cheaper, or we can go for a longer term contract. And as we do it that way, then that's going to, you know, get you discount, you know, on some of the videos. Or, you know, I'm going to offer these other additional things. Like one of the things that I will typically offer is, in addition to whatever happens on my channel, I'll offer to make content for their channel. I'll offer to where they can use me in ads, or to make ads, you know, for them, in terms of, you know, like me making the content and then they edit it up, stuff like that. But, you know, those types of things are, you know, helpful to them, because when it comes to a company that you're working with, if they're on an ad campaign and you can make some ads for them, then in that case, that just gives everybody, or not everybody, but that gives that brand the opportunity to have like this whole other set of ads that they can test to see if they happen to convert better, to sell more of their products with a known face, right? So those types of things are helpful too. Shawnee Gross, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. So let's see here. So next up, we've got Airy Content. I think is how you say that. They upload when they have time. You seeing anything interesting in your investigative work over there, D? Nothing's burning. So let's see here. So they upload when they have time, but on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel used to be AI stories, but transitioned to gaming. And the question is, how does the discovery system on YouTube really work, or how can I utilize it? I don't often go live on YouTube because although I have 1 case of subscribers as of recently, I struggle with getting people in my live stream. So when it comes to their system and how it works, it's extremely complicated, but it's also simple, or you can simplify it. So in terms of the ins and outs, the granular details, nobody knows except for the people that work on it. However, through experimentation, through looking at stats, through looking across stats on, you know, different channels, that kind of stuff, like you can start to see things stand out. So everything comes down to video performance. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to create an experience from the moment that somebody sees your content somewhere on the platform. It doesn't matter if it's a live stream, a video, a short, doesn't matter. You have to be able to create an experience to where from the moment they see that by the time, or from the moment they see it and they click and they start engaging, that for however long they engage for, that it ends up being a good experience for that viewer. And when you do that, then what happens is YouTube's system detects that, and they're like, hey, the people that are engaging with this content are responding in this way. And since they're responding in this way, based on all these things that we measure, this is indicators of a good, satisfactory experience for the viewer. And when it's a good, satisfactory experience for the viewer, then their system is going to say, great, who else is logging on to YouTube right now, or who's on the platform right now that might also be a good candidate for this video. And then they show it to that person. And then if they have a good experience, and that, you know, kind of rinses and repeats. Keep in mind, this is all like branching off and happening, you know, quickly at scale. But when it comes to that in a nutshell, it's all based on how people respond to your content. If you break everything down, it's how people respond to your content. If people have a good experience and the system detects that based on everything they're measuring for the type of viewer, for your type of content, all those things, if their systems measure it as the viewers are having a good experience here, then that video is going to get shown to more people until you start reaching people that aren't having as good of an experience compared to all of the other content that is a good fit for those particular viewers.
Might have messed up our air conditioning.
Oh, really?
It's not blowing out much cool air right now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You're sitting here and cook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Walk out here looking like 2 turkeys. Yeah. All right, so next up, we've got Life with Ricky. Life with Ricky uploads 1 time per week or more. They do family comedy skits. The question is, I understand in order for YouTube to find your audience, you need to repeat video topics over and over because all of my skits focus on multiple different family topics. For each video, I'm just confusing the algorithm. So for your case, what you want to do is you want to think about who it is that is the best fit for your videos and make sure that every video that you make is based around subjects that those people would find relatable since you're doing skits. So you can go super broad and talk about things that everybody cares about, like, food and, health and, all those things, workplace situations, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to like families, there's different variables there in terms of, are you targeting people that are interested in watching skits around like younger families, older families, middle-aged families, like who's going to find that content relatable in terms of the specific topics that you're talking about are people that are older going to like it, people that are middle age going to like it, people that are younger going to like it. And just making sure that all of the topics that you're talking about and all the things that you choose to do skits about, making sure that they are all targeted towards a certain type of viewer that's interested in, those types of things, right? So for example, like on my channel, because you're watching me, I give this as an example. So because this is, pointed at YouTubers, right? Then in that case, I can make a video where I talk about the state of YouTube. I can make a video where I'm sharing YouTube tips. I can talk about YouTube tools. I even have the corny, videos that I play during these live streams that are, fun, for YouTubers, like my little sub button, video that I play.
Click the sub button.
Yep. So like, those types of things, it's all relevant to YouTubers. So even like a silly music video, a fire music video.
It's silly. It's definitely silly.
But even a silly music video like that can, it's something that's relatable for YouTubers. The coffee song, not as much, but for the, for that particular one, it's relatable. So just making sure that everything it is that you are making skits about, that it's relatable for, those types of viewers, people that are in those certain family demographics that might really relate to what it is that you are talking about. Really quick, I'm going to answer this one just because it's something that a lot of people deal with, and it's just it's easy to answer quickly. So the question here is from DIY Evil Genius: is how do you deal with hateful people and comments on your channel? They get the door. So basically, on YouTube, there's something called a blocked words list, and all you have to do is if somebody leaves a bad comment, then, where they're attacking you or somebody in your community, over to the right of their comment, you can click on it, and then you have the option to hide user from channel. That's all you do. So you click on that, hide user from channel. Then if you notice things like, okay, here, these people keep saying these like similar things, and I just don't like it. They're attacking me about this thing. Then in that case, you can add those words to your blocked words list inside of your YouTube settings. And then what happens is when they say those things, YouTube detects it automatically, and then YouTube will remove it from public view. And it's held in a completely different area of your YouTube channel to where you have to actually hunt it down in order to see their questions. So that's just the easy way to deal with that. And keep in mind, it's the internet. People are anonymous on the internet. You have the courage to put yourself out there. And as a response to that, you have all of the wonderful things that can happen from putting yourself out there, but then you also have this like dark side of things where, you are going to have people, talking poorly about you, probably somewhere on the internet. You're going to have people in your comment section saying bad things. You're going to have, people that will send you rude emails from time to time. Like you're going to have, things like that as part of, the experience. But I just recommend that you focus on the good side and spend as little energy as possible on thinking about the other side. Because what you're really doing when it comes to YouTube is you're trying to make content for the people that respond well to the content and get value from what it is that you're doing. Anybody else that doesn't, you can't control that, right? So because of that, just let that whole thing go, regardless of what it is that they say. Just kind of get thicken up your skin and just be prepared for that because it's part of the gig.
You are eventually going to get people who do not like you. Mm-hmm. If you're putting yourself out there, you're like, here I am, warts and all. Yep. This is me. This is who I am. Yep. They're always
warts and all.
Warts and all. I was on behalf of you. I was, you're always going to have someone or a group of people who want to tear you down.
Yeah.
There are some people who just I don't know. I don't know if they're just miserable people. I don't know what their purpose is, but some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
And they want to try to infect whatever it is that you're doing with their little bit of misery that's in their life. So the best thing you can do is block them.
Yeah.
Like Nick said, add the block words to your channel. You know, YouTube gives us the tools to deal with people like this. Don't let those people interrupt your vibe.
Yeah.
To disrupt your zen, your moment, your creativity, your momentum, the thing that you're building, whatever that is. Do not let these people get in the way of that. Block them, mute them. It's your lawn. Tell them to get off it. Be gone.
Stay on mission.
Stay on mission. Yeah. The more you detract, and I know some people have talked in here, well, I made a video talking about my hate. Don't even do that. Just mute them, be gone. If they come back, mute them, gone. Mute them, gone. Mute them, gone. They don't know that they've been muted. They're essentially an old man out in the yard yelling at the clouds at that point.
Right.
They're leaving comments, but they don't know that no one can see those comments. Yeah. Don't let anybody get in the way. Yeah. Shake it off.
And never feed the trolls.
Yep. And it's hard though.
It is.
It's hard. Early
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, there's been those
times.
I've
had moments
where everything like comments are like, "Oh, this is so helpful. Oh, this is great. Thanks. So, oh, this is great. Thanks." And then that one comment
one person
is like, they're like, like, "Oh, everybody knows this stuff. Why are you even saying this?"
Right. And that's where you're like,
and then all day long,
son of a gun.
Well, no, not me. Like, I've had those times where like all day, I'm like, man, why do they? Like, what a jerk. I can't believe they, believe they, they said that. How obvious is it that everybody doesn't know those things? And I can't believe it. And you sit there and just kind of ruminate on it.
Yeah.
So it's
some people disrupt. But no, I was going to say I've had my moments.
Yeah.
I've been lured into that stuff online, social media. On when I was on Facebook, I've been lured into that stuff. I've been lured into it on Twitter or X, whatever they're calling it now. I've been lured.
I went to battle on Reddit.
I've been to battle on Reddit. I've been to battle on YouTube. It's like you get pulled into that stuff if you let it.
Yeah.
But the best thing you can do is just like, you know what, this stuff is like you said, it will, the whole living rent free in your head.
Right.
They will.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore. But but I've had time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Until you learn how to deal with it, that it can really kind of disrupt your flow a little bit. But now it's just whatever. Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not even close. That's not even half as bad as the thing the last person said.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah. Like, you're going to go through. Like, I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. You're going to go through a process of like, it really bothers me. It doesn't bother me so much, and you get to the point where it's just like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it gets real fun when people like start making videos about you and stuff like that. Yeah. Like that takes it to like a whole other thing, and you're sitting there and watch it, and you're like, wow, this is crazy. This person that we don't even know each other is making this like hate video towards me. Like, what's going on?
Well, it flips.
Yeah, it's so
it
wild.
goes from you not handling it well and thinking about why would you do that? Why would that? You're in the shower washing your glorious mane of hair.
Oh yeah.
And
all
you're
this
like,
hair that I have.
All the hair.
These long flowing locks.
Yeah. And you're thinking to yourself, why would that person say that? That was just like uncalled for. You're just trying to figure out the psychology behind it. And then, so they're living rent free in your head. And then eventually, when people are making videos about you, you're living rent free in all of their heads.
Right.
Like when somebody's going out making hate videos about you. Yeah, you win.
Yep.
You win.
Blue Lotus, welcome to YouTube, to the creator side of YouTube.
Yeah.
Just so you know, YouTube, it can be challenging sometimes. So because of that, just hang in there, embrace that, that YouTube is a learning curve, just like anything else. So it's easy to get frustrated when when you're on the journey, so to speak. But hang in there and just embrace the learning curve. It's how you get through it.
Yeah.
But welcome to the creator side of YouTube.
Yep.
It's a different world over here.
Yeah. Davidson All Natural Jim says, if you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies.
Yep.
Yeah. Succeed anyway.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go forward.
Yep. So next up, we have Learn Spanish World. Hey, I sent you an email, by the way. Make sure you check that when you get a chance.
Stanley Orchard says, I would pay real money to get a good hate video, a good one. I don't want garbage hate. That's like, how much you willing to pay?
Send me a check, dude. If you want like a hate video, like, man, I can make a hate video and just, I can email it to you.
We can get the whole community together to make a we hate.
I mean, if you're paying good money for it,
Yeah. What are you talking about by good money?
Oh, yeah.
We can get a lot of people together, make that happen for you, Stanley.
Valentine's Station, I saw that. Yeah, about the YouTubers that went at each other in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's sad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sad stuff.
So there you go. How about? I understand that there is a
don't get caught up in the hype.
Yeah, there's a niche there's a niche
to where you're doing stuff like that, or where you even put yourself at risk like that.
Yeah, and I understand that some of these drama channels thrive on beefing with each other and having these conflicts or whatever. But you're just opening yourself up to getting gunned down in Vegas.
Right.
Like, that's insane. That's insane that they let a YouTube conflict escalate to the point where now this guy is going to spend arguably the rest of his life in prison.
Yep.
And 2 people are dead because of it.
Yep.
That's just insane.
Yep.
But we're still coming after you, Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Learn Spanish World
is
our next question here. They do educational content. The goal is to be a full-time content creator. And the question is, are you familiar with Elgato Camera Hub? I'm wondering if it's designed mainly for Elgato webcams or if it also works well with Sony cameras like the ZV-E1. So, yes. So I have the Elgato Camera Hub at home.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And it does, well, it's software.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and it works fine with the Sony cameras.
Is that what you use though?
Yeah. So on my main workstation, I will use that sometimes, or I'll select the Cam Link.
So interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, with that, sometimes I have a problem with my Cam Link and I have to restart it, and then it'll just flip over to the Elgato Camera Hub, and then once I get the Cam Link turned back on, then it'll feed through there.
Together We Travel. Hello, nice to see you in here. Sue Kreutz, nice to see you in here.
Oh, and you say sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Blue Lotus, good to see you.
Yeah, so it might be your Cam Link. So one thing that I've ran into with my Cam Link is sometimes I just have to restart it. I don't know why, but I have it plugged into a USB extender, I guess it is, like a dongle, but it's a powered one. And sometimes it'll just like not work, and then I have to restart the Cam Link, and then when I restart the Cam Link, it's fine. Or unplug it and plug it back in. But that particular device has a power button on that on each USB thing, so I just hit that power button on and off, and then it comes back on.
All of the things that are supposed to work have moments where they just don't work.
Yeah,
and you have to unplug them, plug them, put them back in, reboot your machine.
Yep,
it's part of the process.
Absolutely.
I apologize if I am not getting your name correctly here. Nashon Webb. That's what I wanted to ask. How do we prevent people from weaponizing the report page from people who just want to cause chaos? Weaponizing the report page. So you're saying that people, like, you upload a video and then people are coordinating mass reporting of your video. It's my understanding, and I wish Renee was in here for this, but if they're mass reporting your video, I think it's going to be dependent on what you mean by mass reporting. Is that 10 people or is that 10,000 people? And I believe that YouTube would probably have to come and view that. Yeah. If somebody's reporting your video, they're going to take a look at your video to see if there's an actual problem with the video. Because I have reported videos before that were, not because I'm a hater. Well, I've reported some of your videos before. Yeah. But just videos where I'm just like, whoa, that should not be on YouTube. That's not appropriate for YouTube. Yeah. But one thing they always ask for is a timestamp. As you go to report something, they want you to timestamp what it is. So you're going to have somebody come in and look at that. So I wouldn't get too worried about it unless they're succeeding. If they are succeeding and your videos are being taken down, I would reach out to Team YouTube. And I would say, hey, look, man, I'm getting mass reported. They're falsely reporting me. I'm being attacked. Can you guys lend assistance? And maybe they can give you some advice on how to protect yourself. Yep. Because if they are mass reporting, then there could be something in your video that someone at YouTube is viewing and saying, oh, yeah, that crossed the line.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
speaking of which, that live stream.
If they're succeeding, you might have something in the video.
So that live stream that happened to get positioned in Google, or people are feeding something into it through Google. Yeah. One of the two. That one's up to 49,000 views now from last weekend. Yeah. No comments or anything. So like, it's weird. And like the initial retention on it is like 113%. Like, it's just that so much going on that's weird about that particular one.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no comments.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of a red flag.
Yeah. So next up on the list here, we have Infinity Wraps. Infinity Wraps uploads when they have time, but on YouTube for a year or more. It's an entertainment channel. The goal is to make money. And the question is, I'm creating a channel where I make a complete console vinyl wrap. That's cool. I have a big printer, so I'm able to print the designs myself. And the videos I show myself doing everything step by step, show how the design is made, printed, and then applied to the console. Final step is to show the console totally wrapped in the end result. This is done time-lapse style to music. Just wondering what limitations I have to the designs. I'm able to put characters in my designs like Marvel characters, Disney, or game logos. Am I? So yeah, you'll have licensing issues when it comes to that. If you're selling them, you'll have issues. When it comes to YouTube, I'm not sure of that nuance when it comes to copyright, because you're showing something that you're making, but you're not actually like selling it or anything. So I'm not sure, because you're not actually using footage for them. You're not using their characters like as video content. You're showing what it is that you're making, but you just happen to be putting their characters on those personal items that you're making. I'm not sure what the rule is on that one. That's a really fine line, I think. You might be able to get away with fair use on that, but I would talk to a lawyer about that one, just to be on the safe side, or shoot an email, for just like an online, consultation or something, and see if you can get some information about that one, because that one's really nuanced, and I'm really not sure. D, what are your thoughts on that? Because you're more in tune with the copyright stuff than I am.
What's the actual question?
So basically, they are doing these large prints, and they're wrapping gaming consoles with them. And in some of the wraps, they're putting characters on the designs, like Marvel characters, Disney game logos, and stuff like that.
Are they selling them?
And well, here, hold on.
If you're doing it for personal use, you should be fine. If you're doing them to profit, then yeah, that's an intellectual property.
Yeah, it says here none of the designs are for sale to the public.
So you're just making them for yourself.
Yeah, just making them for themselves, but they're showing a video. So yeah, so I'm not sure. Like, I would still reach out to an attorney, because that's a fine line. But
my gut instinct on that is, if you're simply showing, like, it just, okay, let's just say theoretically we were fans of Marvel Comics.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're fans of Marvel.
No, but let's just say this was a live stream about Marvel Comics.
Okay. This is a live stream, but not about Marvel Comics.
Okay, but let's say that we went down that rabbit hole. Okay. Let's just do a rebrand and just full channel.
We're talking
pivot.
about Marvel today.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Marvel Live.
Yeah.
Right?
So in that scenario.
Right. And if we framed our, we're fans. Mm-hmm. We're diehard Marvel fans, and let's say we had Marvel paraphernalia all over.
Yeah, that's okay.
All over the set. I don't think there would be any problem with that. I mean, there are plenty of channels that do that with every possible franchise, from Star Wars.
Well, like, for example, we'll
Disney,
put Stormtrooper helmets on the table here, right?
Like, it's for personal use. But where the line gets drawn is if we're like, hey, if you want to buy some merch from us, and you go to our merch store, and then we have those characters or those logos or those other images that are owned, the intellectual property is owned by Disney or whoever, that's where you're going to run into problems. Yeah. But if you're just a fan and you have something, it's essentially like having a poster on your wall. Right. Right. Like I have a picture of, I don't actually have a Thor picture on my bedroom wall. I just totally gave him, told myself, didn't I?
And it's not life size or anything.
Yeah. So
definitely not life size.
Yeah. So if I just had like a shirtless Thor picture up on my wall that was kind of life size, theoretically, that would, I don't think that'd be a problem. Yeah. That said, I'm not a lawyer, but no, I mean, you're a fan, right? You're a fan, and there's a difference between I'm a fan, I'm showing these things because this is a personal thing, versus I'm trying to profit off of this thing. Right. There's a difference there. Yep. That being said, Disney's Disney. I mean, sometimes these companies come after people. Yep. Yeah. Hashtag not legal advice. And hashtag don't put a life-size Chris Hemsworth shirtless, sweaty, gristling picture, hard contrast, life-size poster on your wall.
Speaking of copyright stuff, so I guess Disney going after Danielle was telling me, I didn't run across this, but Disney's going after Midjourney. Do you see that?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so they're going after Midjourney. So I guess they're going to go after. Have you guys seen like these Stormtrooper vlogging channels all over the place? So if you are watching any kind of content right now, you've probably ran across the Stormtroopers, or you've ran across Bigfoot, all the stuff that people are making with Google VO. Absolutely just amazing content, super entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure those people are going to be, they're probably going to get a knock on the door.
From just Disney, like Annie says here, and I agree with Annie. It says, be careful, because companies could see it as muddying their brand. Yeah, totally. How you're presenting and I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah. How you present it could be the difference. So we were talking about this earlier. I mean, Disney being Disney, who knows what they're going to do? But there's a difference between, I made a 30-second clip, or a couple of 30-second clips on TikTok of a couple of stormtroopers just doing some vlogs and having fun, versus here's a bunch of 30-second clips of stormtroopers doing illegal things, such as drinking alcohol, taking drugs, being acting inappropriately, things that could actually harm the brand. Yeah. So and again, there's no hard line on this. It's all violation. You know, like none of it should be made. But I think decisions have to be made when it comes to somebody who's like they're looking at this content and says, "Does this hurt the brand in any way?" And if the answer is yeah, it could. You know, then yeah, they could probably get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Nintendo, didn't they do that? Nintendo came after gamers, right? Just for playing the games.
Yeah, Nintendo's been
But they were
hard for people like anyway.
In general, yeah. It's a minefield. Hashtag not legal advice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Bigfoot and Yeti ones. Yeah, those are hilarious. Absolutely love them. So World News is the next channel here. They do daily content. They've been making videos for 1 year or more.
Hold on, Beanie said Universal has taken down some of his stickers that literally had nothing to do with Jurassic Park, but apparently Universal have a copyright on dinosaurs now. Interesting. So
nice.
What you made closely resembled what they owned, so they took it down. That's crazy.
So World News is the next channel. They do daily content. It is a news channel. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, says, I want to know how to reach 4,000 hours of watch time or 10 million views. So you have to make content that people are interested in and that people respond well to. That's it. So there's tons of nuance within that. I have an entire channel filled with content that will help you, get more in tune with what you need to do. But when it comes to YouTube, just making videos isn't enough. You have to learn how to make videos that people respond to positively enough that they become competitive against all of the other videos that YouTube has the choice of showing the people that they're going to be showing your content to. And once you hit those thresholds, then you're going to start, doing better in terms of view counts, things like that. And sometimes you might still make videos that don't do, that great, but it will, you'll be able to pick up momentum over time once you start hitting that point where your videos become competitive for the platform. You said that you're talking about news. Right there, right out of the gate, you are giving yourself the opportunity to hop on trends, which is a great opportunity to, blow up the channel. Because when you're talking about trending topics, then in that particular case, you might say, hey, every time I make videos about these particular things in the news, then they get a lot more attention than when I make videos about these things in the news. And then that can kind of shape the direction that you go with the channel in terms of exactly what it is that you cover. Or you can take like the News Daddy approach where you go and you just cover everything that, that's just kind of trending highly in the world right now that people are talking about. And just try to be on top of that as much as you possibly can. But as a part of that, that requires, you can't make a video about it a day later. You need to be on it. So as soon as it happens, you've got RSS feeds on your computer and all this stuff. And as these things are happening and Associated Press is dropping it, you've got, these different news outlets that are dropping information about it. You're making a video and getting it online with it, as fast as you possibly can.
I am envious of people who have the ability to do breaking news as it happens every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a commitment. That is I'm dropping everything to make sure that I cover this news as it comes in. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm just envious of that. The dedication and the discipline that it takes to do something like that is really impressive. Yeah. And especially you have people that do it for years on end.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
It is.
Really.
For the people that do that, I mean, they get the the rewards with that.
Yeah.
I mentioned News Daddy a second ago. His stuff is great, but one of the advantages with him is it doesn't matter what's happening. He's got a video about it. You're I just found out this thing's happening, and then he's already got a video about it, or he's introducing you to it, because he's so on top of it, right? But now he's got I don't know how he's doing on YouTube, but I know on TikTok he's got 10 million followers or whatever on TikTok, because he's grinding, right? So that's just what it takes. Sometimes.
I people like that, and I mean, listen, you do what you need to do, but for people who might have a family. Significant other, maybe you have children, maybe you have other activities in your life besides, sitting there looking at reading RSS feeds, waiting for breaking news to come in.
In his case,
that's just really impressive.
It is
to be on top of it like this all the time, every day.
And in his case, his videos, sometimes, right now, he got invited by the White House to go to the States to cover the stuff that's going on over there today, and he's just doing news on his phone. So basically, he's just he's there, he's just wherever he happens to be, and he's just, doing it on his phone and just going for it. So he's not trying to make everything polished and all that stuff. He's just focused on getting it done, getting it out there, and, being there to be the person that shares news with people.
Yeah. And that just goes to show you at the same time that it really doesn't matter.
Right.
He's just grabbing the phone, going live, or just making the news.
Yep.
That's enough.
Yep.
He's not in a studio. He doesn't have the set. He doesn't have all the stuff.
Yep.
Him and his phone and the information.
Yep.
Yeah. Incredible.
Value.
Got a super chat?
Super chat.
So Field Guide to DIY, thanks for super chat, says, I'm doing well getting views from search. What are some suggestions to get views from suggested? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you noticed, did you miss, you had Daniel Craig and iPhone Chris?
Yeah, I mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got those already.
Okay.
So when it comes to getting views from suggested, so the very first thing is to think about when it comes to the different pages of YouTube, your videos are going to get views from the places that they perform best. Okay. So if you are currently doing well in search, but you're not getting much activity from home pages or from suggested videos, then what that means is that the way you're packaging your videos up, people aren't responding to them on those platforms. So this happens a lot to channels that are just making like how-to content, and every video is titled like how to do like fill in the blank. And the reason that happens to those channels, like they can still do, okay on home pages and things like that, but they don't become like major traffic in a lot of cases. And the reason for that is because it's not like super compelling when it comes to, those surfaces of YouTube. So for example, I have this thing, the way that I explain this is if you have a video that is targeted towards search, then you are solving problems that people are actively searching for. And therefore you can package your video up in terms of the topic of the video itself, the thumbnail and the title, to where it's all optimized for search-based traffic. Then you can just roll with that. And when you do, then that's where search becomes like the dominant thing with your channel. And in some cases, it might become challenging to get a lot of traffic from suggested videos or from home pages. Usually this is a bigger problem with home pages, but when it comes to making it more relevant to those surfaces, that's where generalizing the content or making the content to where you double dip it, so to speak, can be advantageous. So here's what that means. So the example I like to give for this is like, let's say that I was making a video about this mouse, and for this mouse, if I made it a Logitech MX Master 3S review, then in that particular case, when it comes to search, this would be great as long as people responded well to the video. It would be great because then I would be hopping in the middle of a purchase decision when people are looking for, reviews on the mouse. However, it's not super compelling when it comes to suggested videos or when it comes to home pages. So it's easy to skip over in favor of other content that is more compelling because it doesn't really stand out. In order for this to matter to somebody on a home page, they need to be interested in the MX Master with that packaging. They need to be interested in this already, and they need to already know what it is and all of that in order for it to be of interest to them in any way. Or they're just a tech nerd. When they see a photo of it, then maybe that'll grab their attention. However, when you say, okay, like in your case, you're doing a field guide to DIY, and I'm not sure. It's funny, I was just looking for my mouse. It's in my other hand. Yeah,
where are my
let me look at your
keys?
channel
In
here
your
really
hands.
quick.
Yeah.
Giving direction to homeowners and do-it-yourselfers. Okay. So in this case with this mouse, I was going to try to make it relevant to your content, but since your content doesn't really, require a mouse in any way, I can't. But a way that you would do this is, let's say that same exact mouse, if you're wanting to make a video about it, or in your case, it would be a gardening tool, then in that case, instead of making it a review, I mean, you might make that video too for search. But if you were trying to get attention from home pages and suggested videos, then you might change it to, this mouse increased my productivity by 38%, right? Or whatever, that number would be. Or this mouse, cut my editing time in half, if it was for my viewers. So the idea there is that when it gets recommended on the home page, then all of a sudden it's not necessarily about the mouse and people needing to know about, this particular mouse and what it is. Instead, it's about the value that that mouse provides. So in that case, if it was, this mouse cut my editing time in half, if my audience were to see that on a home page, then in that case, it's like, oh, well, I edit videos. I wonder what that mouse does and how it might, cut somebody's editing time in half.
How can I edit faster?
Right,
because everybody wants to edit faster.
Right, time is a huge obstacle when it comes to content creators. So therefore, if I package this whole thing around, this mouse, cut my editing time in half, then all of a sudden this becomes more interesting when it comes to home pages and suggested videos. Okay. So in your case, the same exact thing would apply. So here you're doing like 5 simple steps to edit edging tree beds and garden beds, time to reclaim, and this gets truncated, your garden beds. So here, this is another one in terms of, I think the imagery is good. I would definitely add some saturation to your thumbnails. But basically when it comes to that particular title, like I think that's, good when it comes to recommendations. But instead of just 5 simple steps to edging tree beds and garden beds, time to reclaim your garden beds, making it something like, these 5 edging tree bed, these edging techniques will fill in the blank and then maybe add some type of time, thing to it. So like these edging techniques will make your trees look better in however long it would take or something like that. So the idea there is to make it to where if somebody that would be interested in this type of content, and this starts at the topic level. I have a video on my channel where I talk about, it's basically me sitting there and then it says like, this is your year in the thumbnail. Go watch that video because I go really deep on this whole idea. But basically the whole thing is making it to where if your target viewer were to see your thumbnail and title, would the topic by itself be something to where that's expressed through your title and thumbnail? Would that be something to where they would say like, oh, I need to check this out for that target viewer? And if the answer is they need to check it out, then it's optimized well for home pages and suggested videos. But if the option is, I could probably watch that, or maybe that's a good video or whatever, but I'll just check it out later or whatever the thing is, then that's not the best video for the recommendation system, right? So the whole idea is to package everything up, and this starts at the topic, which is why I recommend that you watch that video. But it starts at the topic because some topics are also better for search compared to recommendations. So because of that, you have to start at the topic, and then when you're starting at the topic, then you have to think of how you're going to frame that topic to either go after search or go after recommendations or double dip so that it's relevant for both, so that you can make sure that you're intentionally targeting those places that you're trying to get views from. So as another part of this, you can also see exactly where you're kind of falling short. So for example, one thing that you can do is you can go into your advanced mode of your YouTube analytics and then go into your traffic sources report inside of your analytics. And I have a short that shows you how to do this. But basically, if you go into that, you can actually see on home pages, this is my click-through rate compared to impressions, and this is how much time somebody's spending on the video when they click. When it comes to search, this is how I'm performing. And then when it comes to suggested videos, this is how I'm performing. And that can also give you insights on those problem areas in terms of like, hey, I'm getting all this traffic from search, but I'm not doing well here, which means that at the topic level, I might need to make some changes, or how I'm doing my thumbnails might need to change, or how I'm doing my titles, or just the whole package in general might need to change. So hopefully all that stuff made sense.
It did.
Yeah. But I think like this one right here, like it hasn't done that well yet, but like this one here, like why the DeWalt Weed Whacker string trimmer is a bestseller. Like I think that one's, pretty good. But I would put, you have the DeWalt logo on there, which is great. But I would put more emphasis on the actual weed eater there, or weed whacker.
The weed whacker.
Just for that recognition. So yeah, so hopefully that helps.
We've been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe it's time to pull up a channel. What do you think?
Let's, let me answer another question. And then we'll pull up some channels.
Great.
So American English with Brent, they've been uploading they upload one video per week or more. Been on YouTube for a year or more. They do educational content. The goal is to teach others. And the question is, I'm thinking about taking half of my monthly AdSense and putting it towards promotion on YouTube, testing it for a month or two. Any advice? Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And the reason that I wouldn't do that, you've got 70,000 subscribers, so you're able to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. Actually, before I say I wouldn't do that, let me just see what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if you're selling anything. I don't know if you have like a course or anything or any products. I would be more inclined to spend money trying to bring attention to those products than trying to bring attention to
that's what I'm exploring right now.
Yeah. But again, I'm not looking at your channel. You're checking it out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a couple of things really quick. Here, I'm just going to pull this up,
Okay.
D.
Go ahead.
So here I'm going to put it over in this view. then that'll make
Doug
it.
said here, thanks Doug, it says you cannot earn ad revenue from promotion views.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to keep in mind.
Okay, so we're going to go tab, and then we're going to share this. Okay, so one thing that I'm just going to share with you here real quick is if you look here, right, we see that you have something that you're selling. So it's, hey, do you want to be my student? Brent speak as me, use code 10 off for 10% off of a class. So you have this in your video description, towards the top of your video description. That's fantastic. However, if I go to your channel page, it looks like you're focused here on getting a subscriber, and it looks like here that you're focused on sending people to your store. So what I would do here is I would replace both of these links with that thing that you're actually trying to sell. In addition to adding that link here, I would also, let me see something really quick. Yeah, even here, you can say, hey, my name is Brandon. I've been an English teacher in the United States for the past 20 years. I make video lessons to help you become a better English speaker. You have here, private tutoring with me. So here, if you add that link here instead of this like YouTube specific stuff, you can say private tutoring with me, or, do you want to, you want me to teach you whatever it is you want for the call to action. Check out the link, below. And then by that, you have the clear links that they can click on right here instead of somebody having to copy and paste, these in order to go do it. So it just makes it easier for people to be able to do that. So yeah, get that link here. And then another thing that you can do also, because you have this video from 2 years ago. So I'm not subscribed to the channel, so I'm not sure what you have for subscribed users. But one thing that you might want to also consider is finding a place here to put a call to action with your course information as well. So that instead of first off a cafe, a coffee shop, blah, blah, instead of having that, put another line break here and then just put your call to action there with the link going to that. And then for your subscribed viewers, you can actually make a dedicated video for them to where it's like, hey, you've been watching my videos. I put out this course and this is what's in the course. This is what I help you with specifically. And basically you just make a sales video essentially for your course. And then you would have all the links in a similar location there as well. So for people on a desktop anyway, when they're interacting with your content, it just makes it easy for them or for you to be able to spread that awareness that you have that thing available when people are just kind of looking around at what it is that you're doing. Tango in the kitchen says, let's the game start. Thanks for the super chat. Let's do it. Tom Nash in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great.
What's going on, man? While you were speaking, I opened up my YouTube. So we've been talking a lot about AI. Mm-hmm. AI is moving incredibly fast, especially video, like with VO number 3. And I just opened up my YouTube browser just to see what was being recommended as you were talking. Just popped it up. And I saw an interesting spin that I've never even considered before. And it was an AI vlogger who was visiting Manila as a first world, or visiting Manila, Philippines as a first world city and country. So, and I mean no disrespect to the Philippines when I say this, but I was watching this while you were talking, they basically redesigned Manila from what it was into like a modern like Jetson style.
Oh, nice.
Like,
so it's like the future of the Philippines type of thing?
Right.
Nice.
Right. So it was like, I'm visiting this place. It's like if it were to develop into an advanced first world country. Yeah, I was watching that while you were just speaking. It was absolutely incredible.
Nice.
Absolutely incredible.
Nice.
Yeah. But those are the cool things we were talking about with story, right? It's all of it. We're talking about this over dinner. It's like, as the saturation of content comes with AI, it's always going to come down to the perspective and the story that you're telling. And that was, I've never even seen anything like that before. Somebody doing a different perspective of like this, I'm visiting this place in the future. Just incredible. Tom Nash in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you are doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. He says we can start now. That's good. That's all good. All right. We're waiting on Tom to come in. Yep. Let's let the games begin. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. So we've got some stuff today. And we're kind of doing this trial by fire because you know how we roll. Yeah. So basically, what we are doing first is we are going to do a best practice review. And what this is making sure that you, and we're going to go back to the questions too. So we're going to kind of, bounce around through everything now for the rest of the stream. So basically how this works
is I'm going to put a word up on the screen. When we put that word up on the screen, then all you have to do to participate here, and I hope this tool works, all you have to do to participate is put the word that we show on screen into the chat, and then this tool is going to select them all. It's going to store it all. And then I hit to pick a winner, and then it's going to randomly choose somebody. Hey, thanks, Tom, for the super chat. Appreciate it, man. It's going to randomly pull somebody out of the chat that put in that word, and then we're going to pull up your channel, and then we're going to play a game of sudden death with your channel. And how this works is we start going through the best practices list.
Are you still rolling with sudden death?
Yep, right
still
now,
rolling.
Currently. Yeah, because I was working on this stuff and didn't get a chance to work on that one this week.
Right.
Only have so much time when I'm drinking coffee.
There you go.
Right? But basically with that, how it works is we go through a checklist, and when you have met the things on the checklist, then you keep advancing. But as soon as you hit something on the checklist that you don't pass, then you get terminated, and then we move on to another one. However, if you get all the way through that best practice list, then in that case, I spend 1 minute looking at your channel, right? So we can make this kind of snappy, to get more people involved. I spend 1 minute looking at your channel, just, trying to give you as many tips as I can within that time on things that you can do to improve. So the very first word that we're going to put up here, and you can go ahead and put it on the screen, D.
Yep, I'm putting it on. 1 second. There you go.
Is Niminati. So that's the very first one. So all you have to do is put that into the chat, and then we're going to see if this starts counting. Fingers crossed here that this works.
Make sure. Yep, audio's in. Okay. That's right, Doug.
Okay, it's working. Whew. Okay.
Doug saying Nick came to me and he was like, "Yeah, I got this great idea for like a game show," and he like did all of that stuff, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's sounds familiar."
Well, what'd he say?
Doug was giving you a hard time over the names.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's a pretty like
no, it's not
standard name.
No, it's not.
It is.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just waiting for a few more, and then we're going to spin this.
Spin it.
Yep.
Give it a twirl.
Yep.
If you would. All right.
Okay, and
the trigger word.
So I haven't seen this next screen yet. When we have like a decent amount of replies.
I hope it's not my Thor poster.
So that'd be funny.
Yeah.
That'd be really funny, actually. Yeah. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and spin it. Okay. Yeah, that turns out okay.
It's working.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
It's
Good.
working.
Good. Okay. Love Nesters is the channel here.
That's close to the Thor poster.
Yep. So with Love Nesters.
Don't let me down, Love Nesters.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to go to the channel here. We're going to see what they have going on. I'm just going to do a quick check here to make sure that everything is up to par.
Brad says beta testing live. Woohoo!
Yep, that's how we do it.
Yeah,
here.
try by fire.
Yep.
That's how we do it.
So so we're going to share this tab instead.
All right.
And you want to put the little people on here? There we go.
The little people.
The little people, it's us, right? I mean the little windows. What I meant.
I'll do that.
Yeah, the little.
There we go.
Okay, so we have the Love Nesters here.
Thing.
So first, like I said, we're going through the best practice stuff. So we're going to get this open. And let's see here. Turn on the side panel. We're going to reset this. Boom. And then we're going to start it. Here we go. Okay. So
hold on. This is good. I agree with Scale Train Station. Amateur Psychology says you need more false win displays before picking a final winner for maximum gambling addiction. Ooh,
for what? What is it?
Just more possible, like have it running more to give people the false sense that they might win.
Oh.
And it'd be really cool too if it would like slow down a little bit and make people think that maybe they're going to be.
And then it speeds up again.
And then maybe they're going to get it.
Actually.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, so here we go. So the very first thing in this checklist right here is just best practice stuff. So there's nothing like complicated on here. This is just making sure that you have all the best practice stuff so that if we do give you, more information on the channel, then it's just to make sure that, that we can give you some good, information that you have all these other things buttoned up. So the very first one, you're using custom channel art. Yes, you are. Custom channel optimized for 3 sizes. So we're going to check that here really quick, but I bet that you will be. Okay, so that's fine. I mean, it's there. You have that. Everything fits inside of there. And for desktop, okay, so you are okay there. For TVs, though, you could make, some of that stuff up there at the top. You could put a little bit more imagery up there if you wanted to. It's not required, though. It's not going to make a difference, but just for the sake of those people that are looking on a TV. Clear optimized value proposition, help you stay connected one adventure at a time. Yep. So one thing that isn't super clear is like how we're staying connected. Like that is it's a vague statement, and it doesn't add like tons of information, but you do have something, which is good. But it doesn't give like it's not crystal clear what it is that you offer. But because you do have something, I'm still going to let it pass. Playlist added to channel page. Yep, you've got playlist added here, which is good. And recent uploads or custom recent uploads at the top. Your most recent uploads are up here at the top underneath your For You, which is good.
Advance.
So you've passed through that one. Next, we go to the Videos tab. Here on the Videos tab, you've uploaded in the last 30 days. Absolutely. 5 days ago with making niche content. Okay, so this is where it might get fun. So staying connected one adventure at a time. So who are they targeting?
Amy Johnson says, staying connected to what?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean in terms of that clarity, right? Like if I was gonna be like super hard on them, then I would have canceled it out there for the clarity. But I'm just letting them go through that one because they do have something, but I definitely think they need to work on adding clarity there for sure. Watch this before you go. Mall of America Travel Guide, new hotels, rides, inside one of the most unique stores in America, exploring the best state parks in Wisconsin. Okay. Yeah. So you're clearly doing like travel and like, hey, we're going out and doing this stuff, come along with this. So yeah, I think you're good there on the vlogs. And then consistent uploads, 12 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 month, 1 month, 1 month, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. Got you cleared there. Okay. Next. We have your packaging. You are absolutely using custom thumbnails. Your thumbnails and your titles don't repeat, which here at a glance, you look like you are clear there as well. Main subject is obvious. Can you see this, D?
Hold on, let me zoom it in. 1 second. All right. What are you asking me?
Do you think that it's obvious here? Based on their titles, do you think what they're doing is obvious in their thumbnails?
I'm looking at titles only.
No, what we're looking for here is to see if the subject of what it is that they're doing is obvious. So, like if we were to turn off their titles, for example, would just the thumbnails themselves kind of help the viewers know what's going on here?
Quit moving your cursor around. It's like creating a thing all over my screen. Okay, so Incredible Toy Story, Wisconsin Dells. Watch this before you go. Looks like there's some sort of a theme park. Top 10, Door County, Wisconsin Dells. A little bit. It seems very localized, especially when you start talking about Wisconsin.
Well, I mean in terms of the imagery. Because the part we're on right now is the main subject of their thumbnails is obvious.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have words on their thumbnails. So it talks about like the newest water park. They've got the water park slides.
Yeah, I think they're mostly clear on that.
I think they're mostly clear. I think it's hit and miss. I can pick some where it could be better. Like this
one here, for example, the Mall of America.
Right.
Like you can see that it's Mall of America, but maybe having like a logo clear on there or maybe zooming in on some of the imagery. Because right now, like the DIY channel that was in here earlier, where they were talking about having trouble with suggested videos.
Yeah.
Like this particular thumbnail is really rough when it comes to but we're going through best practices. We can come back to that. But basically, this thumbnail is pretty rough in terms of it being like crystal clear at a glance that it has something to do with Mall of America. Like even here where you have watch this before you go, like just having like a Mall of America logo there might be a little bit better.
Yeah, I think some of these things, like you have the water slides, for example, the Hidden Gem water park. Like I see that if you didn't put any text on that whatsoever, I would understand that it's a water park.
Yeah.
And
same with like the state parks.
Right.
Yeah,
I would try to think that through with the other thumbnails as well. Like you have the toys in your Incredible Toy Store, but the toys are so far away that I have to pay attention to it. And it's just like the Mall of America. If somebody's scrolling on their phone and they're just not paying attention, you're not grabbing them. You're not stopping them. But like there you have a car, right? Word of wheels, boom, car.
Yeah.
Right. So just think about if I didn't have any text on this and I really wanted to let somebody know what this is about without telling them, just visually showing them. A lot of that's going to come from you just enlarging the thing and focusing in on one or two particular items in your picture.
So no distracting elements in your thumbnail. I think you're pretty good there. When it comes to easy to read text, titles, in your thumbnails, all your text is easy to read. like this Wisconsin State Parks might be challenging in a small size, but the top 10 isn't. Easy to read titles. I already looked at that. You're fine. Episode numbers and channel names. You're not using that, so you're clear there. And then we're going to go to your video watch page on your most recent video.
By the way, I don't think your thumbnails are bad. I just think they could be better.
Small paragraph for description. Clarity. Got it. Links to other YouTube videos in description. See a full guide of the attraction. Watch this video. Yep, you are clear there.
Love that.
Affiliate disclaimers if needed. It looks like they are not needed, so we're going to give you a yes.
Okay.
You're using pinned comments. You are. Love it.
I want to add this. Scroll up for a second.
Replying to or hearting comments. Got it.
Got it.
Go ahead, D.
I was going to say, I love that they're giving Tease their credit there. Subscribe graphic by Tease.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Additional royalty-free music by TuneCore. Yep. Love it.
Video has captions. I mean, YouTube does this by default, so yeah, you're going to be good there. Yep. And then you're using end screens.
They better be.
Yep.
Yep.
Got you cleared there. Using info cards. So this one's optional. So you don't have to use the info cards because that's more of like a, is it relevant type of thing. So I'm going to give you a yes on that one because it's optional. And then community feed. So close. So close.
Yeah, you're so close, man.
So close.
Oh, 3 days ago. Yeah.
Hold on. Sharing videos. Are you sharing videos in your community feed? Oh. Okay, we're back a month.
But they're using it though.
But they're not sharing videos. Yep.
Gosh, still using it though.
Okay.
You're gonna go the hard line on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing is, are they using videos? That's literally the question in the checklist. Oh, my goodness. The reason that you want to use your community feed, because have you used it in the last 7 days? You got that. But the reason that you want to add videos to your community feed is because I know I am being a stickler, right?
Yeah.
People are going to end up like hating me because of these.
I already hate you because
I know
of
you
this.
do. Well, you hate me for a bunch of reasons, but like for viewers, they're going to hate me for this.
Full disclosure, I would fail. For those of you who might feel bad if you don't pass the test, I would fail this test. Guaranteed. I break best practices and I don't do things that he's looking at. So I would fail. Just letting you know. Just in case you're wondering. Tom says my channel would fail on stage 1.
Yeah.
Tom would fail. Tom, buddy, we're going to fail together, you and me.
Yep. Okay, so next up on the list here.
But good job, Love Nesters.
Yep. Yeah, you made it. Yeah, you made it far. So there's only been one other channel that's made it as far as you have, just going through those general best practices. So the reason that I button all these things up is because when it comes to that like minute review, I'll usually go over a minute, and when it comes to that, like I'm just making sure like every possible opportunity is being taken. That's kind of the idea. But with that particular one, like the reason that you want to share videos just for everybody watching is first, YouTube is now showing community feed posts. If somebody's watching your shorts. So they are adding a button there to where people can actually click on it and then they can see community posts. So when you add a video there and you have a blurb around why somebody should watch that video or playlist, then it gives you the opportunity to capture people and bring them back into your videos. In addition to that, when it comes to people that are already engaging in the channel, like in your case, Love Nesters, you guys have almost 9,000 subscribers on the channel. And through that process, you've been in front of a lot of people and everybody hasn't watched all of the videos that you have on your channel. So because of that, occasionally sharing videos in your community feed that people respond to well is just a good best practice, because what that does is that can re-engage people. So for example, like let's say that your most recent videos, let's say you published 2 and they didn't respond well to it, but then you have a community feed post that you make, and that one is recommending another video or a playlist of videos, then in that particular case, that can cause somebody based on that particular video to say like, oh yeah, let's go check it out, right? So it just gives you that opportunity to reintroduce content to viewers. So when you are using videos in your community feed, it's best to use videos that are already getting a good response in terms of when people click into these and they watch these, they typically, will stick around for a little bit in terms of like, viewers are having a good experience with these videos. So that when you do see them there, then, with the people that do go into those videos, they are interacting with one of your good videos, right? So that's the whole idea there.
The Ball family says I'd be a super fail.
Yeah.
So then what? Okay,
Well, look, all
so
you guys should get it together. Like, this is so easy. Like, just get it together, right? Like,
well, hold on though.
Yeah.
Hold on though. Let's talk about this for a second, because it is better to post videos, but you don't always have to post videos. I mean, like, there's polls in there. You are getting some engagement in there, right? You're asking questions. You're building community. You're getting people's opinions. You're putting polls. Maybe you should have two.
It's missing opportunities.
Maybe you should have two things. Are you using the community feed?
I have it. Have you used it within the last 7 days?
Okay.
They passed that one. They just failed on the one of the videos.
So then, have you posted a video within what, the last how long?
For this, like, the whole thing is like the other channel stuff. I'm looking for like the last 90 days. But when it comes to up to 90 days. But for when it comes to the community feed, probably a month would probably be a better better gauge there.
Okay, well, failed that one. The Ball family says I'm making a list. There you go. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Make a list of all the things that he's looking at, because he's going over best practices. These are things that, especially if you're new, especially if you're still trying to build momentum, these are things you should be looking at. You can break the rules a little bit later once you learn them.
And Jerry says here, this advice is counter to what the creator liaison says. They posted a video saying people don't come to community posts for video recommendations. But if you share a video and you look at the stats of that video, people do, and they go watch videos from the community feed. Right?
They don't go there for that, but if you put it in front of them, they can definitely watch your video. I have a lot of data on that where I brought people in. But I haven't posted a video in a long time. I've posted a lot of polls recently. I've
My
been
videos
really
that I
big on
post
polls
right now are mostly to other people. So it'll be like your videos or Brian's video or Nate's video or somebody else's video.
Yeah.
So next up on the list, we've got
momentum does grow your channel.
Does.
Mo.
Let's see here. So next up,
Davidson's All Natural Gym says, if I can do one of these things every week, I count that as a win.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's too much to do everything all at once. It's too much to do. But if you can pick one of the things and say, okay, well, here's a whole bunch of best practices. We talked about possibly getting this together for people for like a PDF download or something at some point, right? Once we get this ironed out, right? We'll get it together for a PDF download. It's one of those things where it's like you're not going to be able to do it all at once, but you have a checklist, and then over a period of time, you say, okay, I've done this, I can do this now. Now I'm doing this regularly. I'm doing this regularly, and what you're going to find is you start building habits. So when you upload videos, you're going to the community posts, you start doing all the things, and you build the habits, and you start naturally doing a lot of the best practices. And then eventually you'll slip off of those best practices like someone did. I won't be naming any names.
Yeah, the whole idea with that
Tom Nash.
checklist, right? Yeah, the whole idea with that checklist is that, like when we look at channels, either from my comment section or, when we do this type of thing, we have all of these things that are really common in terms of the things that people aren't doing. So part of that checklist is to make sure that it's being brought to people's attention that, they should do some of these things. So I have some small things in there that are easy wins for people. That's why they're in the list. Like, for example, the header art thing, right? That's why I also always follow that up with this isn't going to make like a huge difference, but this is like a best practice type of thing so that you're giving yourself those opportunities. So I have easy a like that because, a lot of people don't have those sort of things in order, but most people do. And then I also have some more like specifically best practice stuff in there around, like the thumbnails and titles and things like that, because those things do matter tremendously. So the whole idea as we go through that list is that, some things are easy wins, and then some things are, things that just button it up. And with some of those things, like, for example, the community post thing, the reason that's in there is because, like, people are always asking me, newer content creators and people trying to get monetized, how do I get more watch time on my videos? So a great way to get more watch time is, of course, making good videos for the content, that you're putting out there. But it's also making it easy for people to find more of your content so they can click on it and then they can come in and watch that content. So when it comes to sharing videos in the community feed, it's more about, okay, so if I share this in my community feed and if I have some people go in there and watch that video, then it's going to help watch time and it's going to expose that video to people, right? That's the idea. So it's more about that than it is anything else. So like when Dee's talking about him like breaking the rules and like all of that stuff, you know, like it's fine. Dee has an established channel. Dee knows what he's doing. Dee can make a video and it'll do, you know, it's likely to do well. So the whole thing with this is I'm trying to help people that that are not where, you know, Dee is, or some of us are, you know, that are hanging out in the chat right now. So next up on our list here, we've got Nick Satratong Equipment. They've been on YouTube for 1 week or more. They've been making videos for less than a year. The type of channel is lawn care equipment maintenance and related equipment reviews. The goal is to teach others. And the question is, I have a few videos that would fit into multiple playlists on my channel. Would it be better to just put the video into one playlist that fits it best? Or is it okay to put one video into multiple playlists? I would just be concerned that it would turn off a viewer if they keep seeing the same content in multiple playlists. So when it comes to the playlists that you're using on your channel, it just depends on where you're using them and how you're putting them together and why. So for example, if you were going to be sharing a playlist of, let's say, like 3 videos in your community feed, and you were trying to feed people into that particular playlist, then one of the things that is advantageous there is to put the content into that playlist that would be, you know, relevant at that time for however it is that you're setting up that playlist. But
I'm always going to use sound effects for your
when I'm drinking stuff
for your drinking.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's going to be the new norm.
But when it comes to like playlists that you're putting on your channel page, in that case, it's going to be different because that particular playlist, you're making it to where it's easy for people to find groups of content that they are, you know, most likely to enjoy from, you know, the channel, or, you know, within, you know, that category. And then when it comes to your video description, it's kind of the same there in terms of, okay, let me just make this playlist to where it's either just a few videos on the thing or it's like the entire playlist on that thing based on how you're framing it to actually send people into that playlist if they're interested in it. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, I want to backtrack for 1 second before you move forward. You highlighted my channel, you know, about breaking the rules. And I just want to mention this for a second. The reason I believe it's important to understand the best practices, even if you're not going to follow all of them later, is that so if you have videos that are not performing well, you have a good idea of what you can go back and look at, right? Like something's not working and you're like, okay, I'm doing these things and all of a sudden it's not working. You have a frame in which you can look at this problem through because you've learned a lot of the best practices. You've learned what works, what doesn't work in the past, what I should be doing, what generally works. You know, you have a big toolbox to choose from to try to figure out why something's not working. So learn all the rules. Derailed. Yeah, learn all the rules, and then it's up to you if you're going to break them later.
Yep.
Like Tom is absolutely crushing it right now, and I bet he's breaking all the rules, or a lot of the rules, not all of them.
So Malcolm Planet is the next channel here. They upload when they have time. They do entertainment, movie reviews, and roasts. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, how can I improve each? Or how can I improve reach and click-through?
Oh, you missed the super chat, too.
So, did I? Yeah. So when it comes to your reach of your videos, the very first thing is making sure that the topics that you're covering are relevant to the largest amount of people within the audience that you are targeting with your content. That's number one. When possible, make sure that you are making videos on things that your community is talking about or thinking about. In order to find that, you hang out in communities around your content type. So in your case, you're going movie reviews and roasts and entertainment. So because of that, hanging out in like Facebook communities, Reddit communities, having Google Trends set for like entertainment, so that you can see all the things that people are talking about and then making content around those types of things, so that when you're publishing those videos, you got to make them quick in that regard. But when you're publishing those videos, and every video that you make doesn't have to be trending like that, but having those as part of the content that you put out on a regular basis, basically when you are publishing those, you're giving yourself the opportunity to have like a really good video or a video do really well, really quick, because everybody's thinking about it that's interested in those things at that moment in time. So in terms of improving reach, those are two things that you can do there. In terms of your click-through rate, just making sure that whatever imagery that you're focused on is imagery that is going to help the people that you are targeting, which is people that are interested in movies, helping them be able to easily, at a glance, without having to put any energy or thought into it, helping those people easily identify that content has something to do with movies or other entertainment content. Next up, we've got none yet. Okay, so you haven't started your channel yet, so welcome to the creator side of YouTube. So you've been making videos for less than 1 month, doing educational content. The goal is to have fun. And the question is, I'm really appreciating the videos that you and Dee create to ensure a newbie success. Thank you. My question is, let's see here. Will you please give a few details of what's behind that mysterious members door? I'm curious about what it's like, possibly access some Niminati extras. So right now,
you get a Thor poster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now, the thing is that I just have communities where people can ask questions. So I'm going to be doing live streaming again soon, but right now I'm not doing any live streaming. I've been focused on like making apps and stuff, and I've had to kind of go like into deep learning for that, and it's taken a lot of time. So because of that, you know, now that I have like a good app that's out, which you can check it out, pinned at the top of the chat, by the way. But basically, when it comes to that, I will be streaming again soon, but it's just not happening right now. So it's just the communities and being able to ask questions when you are, you know, trying to figure stuff out. Next up on the list, we've got Yolanda Kikau. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Uploads when they have time. Been on YouTube for less than a month.
Super chat.
Thanks, D. Let's see here. So Tango in the Kitchen says, just curious, logos or no logo? I used to have one with my old channel name, but removed it when I changed my name. So if you mean logo on your thumbnails, it's optional. Like that type of thing can help when it comes to people being able to identify it. But let me go look at your channel really quick.
You pulling her channel up?
Yeah, I'm just going to look at it here real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure she is. She's in her thumbnails. Hold on.
A logo in the thumbnails? Is that what she's working?
Close this side panel.
Let's see.
Oh no, she's not. Yeah, so she's not in your thumbnails. Okay, so in your case specifically, okay, there's a couple things. Do you mind if I pull your channel up real quick?
Here we go.
Because this wasn't in the form, so I just want to make sure that you're okay with it. Because I just have some information that I want to share with you. Are you okay if I pull this up?
Pull it up. Pull it up. We're all friends here. She says, yeah, it's okay.
Yep, pull it up. So let me switch to this tab. There we go.
Just putting this on the screen so everyone says we see her consent.
Yeah, right. It's like making a video like, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see those like interview on the street people?
Right.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, that video like, hey, do you agree to, you know, be on YouTube? Okay, so
on YouTube.
So a few things that I just want to bring to your attention here real quick. I mean, you haven't published like long form in a while, but even on these older long form videos, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to because you've already made the food. I mean, you might have screenshots where you can do it, but I would definitely go through and update some of these images. Like one thing to think about is when it comes to food content, having, you know, the food be the star of the show is definitely something that can be advantageous. You know, especially here, like discover the secret to making healthy ground beef recipes, and then showing like a nice, good shot of, you know, the actual, you know, ground beef thing that you made. Because here you have like, you know, learn how to make this recipe, but you can't really see that without, you know, putting some effort into trying to figure out what it looks like. So just trying to make those a little bit more clear is something that I would definitely try to do. However, when it comes to, you know, having like a logo on like long form content, like having consistent branding can be helpful. So that branding can be expressed through like the style of the thumbnail. So some like like photography channels and cinematography channels, they're really good at that. From a design standpoint, sometimes people can nail it there in terms of the style of the thumbnail, you know, being the thing that helps you instantly know that it's them if you're a regular viewer of their content. But also having a small non-interruptive logo is something that you can also do to help your regular viewers identify that it's, you know, your content if you have, regular viewers that are interacting with your content. And then, of course, yourself in your thumbnail can also, be one of those things that help people identify that, that it's your video. So those types of things can be advantageous, but you don't want it to be the star of the thumbnail. Instead, you want it to be something subtle to where over time your viewers just know to kind of look there, or that if they see it and then they happen to notice that they know it's yours. But you don't want it to stand out, right? That's the idea. So that's what I was wanting to mention there when it comes to those. Yeah, and then when it comes to shorts, because, with you making shorts, for the thumbnails of those, that's not really going to be a big deal. I mean, yeah, they do, they can make a difference in terms of when YouTube is trying to squeeze people into shorts from homepages, but mostly, you're fine there in that regard when it comes to the thumbnails.
Next.
All right, next up. So we have Yolanda. No, I did Yolanda already, I think. No, I didn't. Okay, so Yolanda, her default category is entertainment, and it used to be gaming. And the question is, what is the best to let my viewers know I'm an 18+ channel, not a kids channel, to go to a more family-friendly page? So saying that kind of stuff in your videos isn't really the thing that you want to do. Instead of saying things in your videos, like that, just make sure that the topics that you're talking about are not kids related topics.
Yeah.
Make sure that you do not have, one, make sure the topics are not for kids. Two, make sure that in your upload settings that you do not have it set for kids. Because if you do that, then, they'll also, show it to more kids. And right now I see that you are making videos with like a lot of like, anime and like cartoons and things like that in general. So when you are making content about those types of things, you are going to get a percentage of, younger people that are interacting with the content. And that's just part of, that thing. So unfortunately, just make sure that you do have it set not for kids when you are uploading the videos. And then as long as you have that set and you are legitimately not making these for kids, then, you're at least doing your part. And then if YouTube shows it to younger people, that's on them, and it's not on you in that case, because you've done what you needed to do to let their system know that it's not for kids.
Keep them kids out.
Yep, keep them out. Keep them off the grass. So the next one is from Gross Brothers Parodies. They upload when they have time. The channel is Song Parodies. And the question is, if you upload a video in private mode to YouTube, but then delete that private video without ever making it public, will YouTube penalize you for that? No. I know you aren't supposed to delete videos, but is that only for the publicly published ones? Yeah. So if you upload a video to YouTube and it's private or unlisted, and you delete it, it's perfectly fine. You don't get penalized for that in any way. I mean, you don't want to just be going up, let's upload one and delete it again, and upload one and delete it again. But if you're doing things like, hey, I'm just going to check to see how YouTube encodes this video, you can totally do that kind of stuff, and it's not a big deal. The issue comes from when you have a public video and then you start trying to do that kind of thing. That's where they recommend against deleting anything. So next up, we got Widow in a Haystack.
Widow in a Haystack?
Yep.
Interesting name.
Yep. They have a farm vlog. The question is, I got lucky and my channel got monetized in 21 days and 3 videos. I have a super loyal following with very high engagement, but views and subs have plateaued. I'm not reaching new people. Any ideas what measures that I could implement to improve on this? Okay, so you got monetized quick with 3 videos and you have a loyal following. Okay, so what might have happened is when you first start publishing videos to YouTube, your channel gets a little bit of extra love from YouTube because it's a new channel. And what might have happened is once you got monetized, that love might have went away because it did happen, so quickly.
YouTube no loves you anymore.
Right. But one thing that I do want to mention, though, is that, you've got, almost 3,500 subscribers with 23 videos. So you're doing really well. And just looking at your channel here, like, this all like, looks nice and welcoming and all that stuff. So I think that you are doing the right thing in that regard. But in terms of like new viewers, let's look at your most popular videos and see what you have going on here. So building a life on my Swedish homestead.
You want to pull this up? It's so much easier to like, because if you're talking through it, I can't see it. There you go. There you go.
So building a life on my Swedish homestead, solo family farmer, solo family tackles timber, one woman with a chainsaw and a horse. That's awesome. What's next for my Swedish farm? Okay, that one's less. And then we go to latest. Spent this much farm help. Kill the fox, life, love, and big farm decisions, Q&A.
She's doing great.
Guess in the farm. Yeah, I think you're doing okay for like where you're at. The reason I was looking here is to see like what grew the channel, you know, when you first, you know, started going here. And here it's, you know, like you building your life, you know, on the homestead as a solo female farmer. And then here, solo farmer, you know, one woman, one chainsaw.
Yeah.
So this is more about you being by yourself, you know, doing these things. And then this one here is didn't expect this much, you know, farm help or laughter. And with this, it's just more like general in terms of, you know, no, like this isn't, from my perspective anyway, I just don't think this is as interesting in terms of the package here compared to like a solo, you know, farmer.
Just at a glance here, I think because those two are just such breakout videos and they both center around her being solo, the solo woman, I would try to, I would
lean
test,
into that.
Yeah, I would test for your next several videos, framing the video around you being a...
Yeah, they've got some in here. So they have down here, like in a solo newbie farmer, have a stuck lamb, you know, my first lambing crisis. So they're occasionally being thrown in here.
Yeah.
But it's definitely doesn't seem to be like a staple of any kind.
Yeah.
But yeah, like leaning, you know, more into that is definitely something that I would consider because, you know, that is a unique, you know, perspective.
Solo woman, I think, is different than solo newbie.
Yeah. Just solo anybody. I mean, it just makes it more interesting because it's like, you know, when you think of a farm, at least I do, I think of like, you know, like you got to have people doing this, you got to have people doing this, you got to have people doing this. So like, I think that solo perspective is definitely cool. Yeah. And in addition to that, like if you look at the imagery here,
solo farmer,
right? The imagery just looks like, you know, really nice with like the sheeps in the back and the sunset and all that stuff. And this is a nice, compelling, like this almost looks like a cinematic, you know, type of shot.
A lot of her thumbnails look cinematic.
Yeah. And then when you get up here, like this here doesn't really say much about farming, right? You say it in the title, but it doesn't really say anything about farming. It's just like you guys, you know, kind of hanging out in the grass. And then here, this is just like a general Q&A, but this also doesn't say, you know, much about farming or being solo or like any of that stuff. And for the kill the fox, I don't know if that's just like a saying of some kind or what, but in terms of just like general audiences, I'm not sure, you know, how well that's going to do for them. And they're all gone. This guest in the barn didn't expect this. So yeah, like in this case, right, because you're making this one about, you know, the uninvited guest in the barn. I didn't expect this. So this is okay, but I think just like a small reframing here, like I didn't expect to find this in the barn. Even though it's like a small tweak, you know, I think that would just make a better title, but, you know, not necessary, I don't think, but I think that would make a better title. But even with this one, though, it just doesn't have that same type of vibe in terms of the videos that did better. So when possible, you know, I would try to do this kind of stuff. You don't have to do it with every video, but I would try to basically, part of content strategy is when you are publishing videos, you find the things that work well, and then you make sure that you include them. So like, let's say that you are figuring out like, okay, over the next like, you know, month or, you know, 3 months, whatever, I'm going to be making these videos for the channel. Then in that case, you say, okay, well, these solo videos did well. So topically, let me try to make some, you know, videos at least, you know, on X cadence. Let me try to make a certain amount of videos that are about me being a solo farmer. And then, you know, you have that as like a regular occurrence on your channel. And then from there, you're experimenting with other, you know, different things. And then when you find something else that does similar, then you do that same exact thing. So you're like, okay, now I'm doing solo farmer thing. And then this other angle with farming. And then you have that, you know, third one where you're sitting there experimenting with that too, until you find something that kind of pops there. And then you can always have that experimental arm going, like as you start fine tuning the exact pieces of content that people are into most. But I think that, you know, leaning into the solo thing is like a staple is definitely something that I would lean on with what it is that you're doing. And just try to make sure the imagery, like again, on this most recent one with, you know, that you didn't expect the farm help, that particular photo doesn't say anything about farming. So because of that, it may attract farmers, I'm not sure, but it just doesn't scream that it has anything to do with farming, right? So like one of the things that I like to do when it comes to this is like, and this is cool for like all, channels, is just kind of being like, okay, well, if I'm talking about farming content, like, do all of these, is it clear that it has something to do with farming if I didn't have the titles attached to it? Because these are going to be the things that grab people's attention, right? So here, this one does a little bit because you got the barn back there. This one does more. This one absolutely does. This one, not so much, but you have the new farm animals on there, so it takes it away. And here definitely has something to do with animals or farming in some way. But this one is just completely removed from that crystal clear imagery that you have in some of these other ones. So, I think there's a lot of things that you're doing really right here. And I think that you have like a lot of potential with this.
Oh, yeah.
Especially since you started strong anyway. But I would definitely just start working on some of those things. Even here, right? You have like My Secret Stream. So even something like this, like from here, from the perspective of like content, thinking about, okay, if I'm going to make a video about this like stream that I have by my place, hold on, Hidden Treasure, Forgotten Creek, yeah. So even here, like, making, like, instead of publishing a video about this, which you can, again, if you're experimenting, but just thinking about like, okay, if people are coming to my channel to kind of see what it's like to be a solo farmer, and to see all the experiences that I go through there, then when I'm publishing content, would that particular type of viewer that's interested in those things, would they be interested in like this video? And this is one to where, they might enjoy this, but in terms of it just being that slam dunk for your target audience, this is one that I would put in kind of like a gray area to where you're like, yeah, it might pull in like, regular viewers, fans, that kind of stuff. But in terms of it being in perfect alignment with some of the other stuff, I'm not 100% sure on that particular one. But anyway, you get the idea when it comes to that.
So,
do you have any other ideas on that, D? And
no,
really quick, she dropped a super chat, says, thanks for the input. Made me think. First 3 thumbnails were AI, and it felt a bit weird, but perhaps I should try out a bit more. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, those first thumbnails, I mean, they look fantastic.
They look great.
Yeah, like when you're looking at them here, at least at the small size, like, I mean, it looks, yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think you covered it well. I think she has a ton of potential. It's just learning how to lean into testing different things and learning how to lean into the things that's working.
Yeah. And a little bit more information for you too, just because you have so early in your journey, you've had videos that have done well, and your regular view counts. Like, again, you're crushing it for where you're at.
Yeah.
So one thing that I would also do is your videos that are higher performing. I would go in and just take a notepad and then go into those videos and just start taking notes on those videos. And be like, okay, from this part to this part of the video, like this timestamp, these are the things that I was doing here. So this is how I kind of started the video. This is my intro. This is the way that I was talking to the viewer. These are the things that I was saying. And you want to, try to figure out like a format based around those, because the way that you did it on both of these first videos, people responded to it well. So the whole idea is to dig into those videos and try to look for like clues on the format, look for, things that you did when you were first starting the video that, captured people's attention and caused them to watch it for longer, or at least past that first 30 seconds. But, use those videos that have done well for any of them. Like, you've got another one here with like 9,000 views on it. So, you have, it looks like, 2.5 is kind of the norm. But you are, having some videos that are more breakout as well. But yeah, like the 9,000 view, the 15,000 view, and the 30,000 view, I would analyze all of those extensively and go into your audience retention reports for them and just, follow the line and be like, okay, was there anything that I was doing on those that people were dropping off? And then do the same thing on the videos after those, where you're like, okay, like this farm to barn, you got 4,000 views on that one. So let me go into there and see if I was doing anything different than, what I was doing in the other ones. But again, the topic is going to be a big difference as well. But basically using the ones that have done well as kind of like your guide on how to format videos, because people, responded well to these.
So I have something to share. Open up YouTube again. And what were we talking about?
I'm on YouTube right now.
No, I said I opened up YouTube.
Oh, okay.
What were we talking about a little bit earlier?
I have no idea. We talk about a lot of stuff.
Look at that.
What is it? Mars?
Look in the middle.
Train?
Train like what?
I don't know. I can't read it. It's too small.
Train like Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, nice.
Thor.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's right. And you did mention Chris Hemsworth too.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
YouTube has never, ever, ever recommended a Chris Hemsworth.
I'm going to open up my homepage right now, and I'm going to see if I see it too.
I've never in my life been recommended a Chris Hemsworth video. And then I say it live, and now they recommend Chris Hemsworth, train like Chris Hemsworth, because I was talking about his body.
Yeah, I don't have any Chris Hemsworth stuff.
Yeah. And it's a 6-year-old video. What in the world?
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up on the list, we've got...
They're listening. That's right.
Okay, we did Window in a Haystack. So next up, we've got 0 to 1 million is the name of the channel. They have a finance channel. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, what's the number one tip you'd give to a new creator trying to grow fast? Learn. Like, spend your time like learning how to edit videos, spend your time analyzing other people that are making content like yours, and look for similarities between, you know, all of those other channels. Look for videos on their channels that have done well topically, because those are proven topics that people that are interested in that type of content are proven to enjoy. Look at how they make their thumbnails. Like, you know, one thing that I recommend to people is, you know, if you are trying to compete with people that are making content in your niche, go and open up your thumbnails right next to their thumbnails and just look and be like, okay, how are my thumbnails compared to theirs? Is the imagery clear? Like, is it clear in theirs that, you know, who it is that they're targeting or who that video is for? Is the subject clear? All these things. But just put them up next to each other and see how yours are different compared to theirs, and just go through and look to see, like, okay, you know, what are the things that I'm doing that are in alignment with these successful channels, and what are the things I need to work on, and just working on the skill set side, like making content so that you can practice the art of doing the thing, and then publishing that content, and then looking at how people respond to that content, and then making changes from there, and just rinsing and repeating that over and over again until you find that thing to where, like, all right, yep, got it. People are responding well to these now, to where you can expect, you know, a certain amount of, you know, views from every video that you upload.
I concur.
Yep. Hey, Crispy. Yeah, we were doing them here a little bit earlier, but I'm going to adjust the playlist or my checklist before we do it again.
We're going to do one more. What, do another one?
Nope.
No?
No. Yeah, we'll. Yeah, I'm going to adjust that list, and then we'll do them again next time. So
you mean the checklist that goes down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see here. Give a creator trying to grow fast. Oh yeah, another thing on trying to grow fast too is making sure that you are managing your expectations. Like, it's great to go for it, and I recommend that you do if you're trying to make money from YouTube, because it requires that. However, you know, make sure that you are being realistic with your expectations, or not even realistic. Like, go for it. But if it's not working out for you, don't look at that as frustration in terms of like it's going to bum you out. Look at it as in terms of frustration that will motivate you to try to learn what you need to do in order to get better. And by learning what to do, I don't mean watching like YouTube help channels. I mean, like, you know, learning how to edit videos. You know, watching the help channels is helpful too. Like, for example, I have a few videos that I recommend to you right now. The very first one is how to start your videos. The next one is that video that I made on how to blow up your YouTube channel in 2025, I think is the name of the video. But those two videos right there, you'll learn a ton of stuff if you just watch those videos. But when it comes to, you know, doing this whole thing, it's really easy to expect, like, okay, when I publish this one, it's going to get, you know, a bunch of views on it, and then you publish it, and if it doesn't, then it can start to get frustrating, and you can start to be like, man, why are these other people doing it, blah, blah, and it can start to get frustrating, but turn that into motivation if you're trying to make money, which is what you said you're trying to do, because if you turn that into motivation, that frustration, then you'll find your way through it. If you look at it as frustration in terms of defeat, then you're likely not to do it for long, and you'll, you know, kind of burn out and go do something else. So that's my recommendations. Anything else for somebody that's getting started?
I think those are pretty good. Realistic expectations. I think so many people give up because they come in with unrealistic expectations. Yeah. Like, if you come in and you're looking at all these channels that are just having crazy numbers, well, they have all this engagement, they have all these crazy numbers, they have all these subscribers, and then you're doing what you think is everybody thinks they're doing the best they can do. You know, and it's all relative to base where you're at on your skill level. Like, I did the best I could. I'm putting in all this work and I'm making these videos, and, you know, 20 people watch my video or 50 people watch my video, and you're comparing yourselves to these huge established channels that have been around for quite some time, or maybe they are newer, but they just, you know, some people are more naturally hit a home run when they come out. You know, maybe they just have a little bit more experience in front of a camera or editing or whatever, and then those expectations that you came in with will deflate you and demotivate you. And then all of a sudden it's not worth it. I'm putting in all this work in and nobody's watching and it's not worth it. When the truth of the matter is, for 99.9% of the people on the platform, we're in the trenches. You're grinding it out video after video, and it takes a long time to build a successful channel. Some channels start and they do well out of the gate, but the majority of channels, like you're in the trenches. You're grinding it out, slugging it out video after video, and it's a process. And it's hard to sustain that. You see a lot of channels that are new that start to have like a breakout video, and that video will just like go gangbusters, and they'll really quickly watch a decline because they don't know how to keep that momentum going.
Yep.
It's the same thing as people coming in, and I get asked that a ton. I know you have too. How can I make a viral video? Right? You have somebody new coming onto the platform and saying, how can I go viral? How can I go viral?
It's like you can't even make a video yet. Like, how can you expect to go viral when you haven't even like learned how to make like a video yet?
Right. It's that unrealistic expectation of, I'm going to make a viral video and it's going to put my channel in the place that I believe I need it to be. But the truth of the matter is you don't know how to follow up that viral video if you were to have one.
Yep.
If you were to get a viral video as a new channel, you're wasting that viral video. Yep. You're going to waste the watch time. You're going to waste the engagement. You're going to waste everything because you don't know what to do with the traffic. So yeah, just come in with realistic expectations, learn as much as you can, and just understand it's going to take a while. That's my advice.
That's great advice. The next one here, they don't have a channel yet. They're getting ready to start. And it's pet products. The goal is to make money. And they say, my main goal is to drive customers to my local business. I have money to spend on ads, but starting a channel to use for running ads only better suit my needs. Seems like building a YouTube channel could take years and may not ever help my business grow unless I figure out how to make great videos, which may never happen. Well, you're a business owner, so you understand the importance of taking risks and how those risks can sometimes work out and they sometimes do not. So because of that, there's a few things that I do want to share with you. Absolutely, you can run ads. And when you run ads, you don't need to have you don't need to make content on a regular basis or anything like that. You can just have that as one of your marketing channels. And as a part of that, you can also, like if it's for your local business, then you can use like Google, their ads to run videos on YouTube in front of pet channels that have people watching them in your area. So you can do that sort of thing. However, when it comes to having a pet brand on the internet as well as a pet brand in person, that can be extremely advantageous to not only bringing additional business to your local business, but also giving you things to talk about in terms of showing up in your local news, things like that, around your YouTube channel. And it also gives you the opportunity to expand your business by also creating like digital products or having like a Shopify store or something like that, where you're also able to sell things all across the country or possibly all across the world. So when it comes to YouTube, that's where that type of value comes in. But you don't have to make content, right? Like you can run ads. Like you can hire, if there's anybody here in the chat that makes videos about pets, right? Or you can go onto YouTube and find channels that make videos, about pets. And you can hire an influencer marketer to make what's called UGC, user-generated content. And there's a lot of people that offer that as a service. But basically what you do is you find a creator that makes pet content, and then you hire that person to make user-generated content for you. It's going to be a little bit expensive, but it's not going to be as expensive as hiring an entire production team and trying to do it yourself. And you're going to be having somebody that make that ad for you that knows how to make content and that knows how to hold people's attention and all that stuff. So you're going to be leaning on their expertise, which is why it's expensive. But with that user-generated content, you have some known faces make some videos for you. And then for those, as part of your agreement, you have it to where you can use those videos for ads, indefinitely. And then you essentially, run those ads on TikTok, run them on YouTube, run them on Instagram. You can run them on Facebook or anywhere. Make sure they make some vertical ones for you, make some landscape ones for you. And then that way you have experienced content creators making these ads for you. You don't have to worry about anything related to YouTube. And then you can bring awareness to your business that way. And then that would still open you up to where once you learn how to do that well, then you could also turn that into something digital as well. So you don't have to be a content creator, but here's the thing where you win with being a content creator. You can do all of those things and you can still have a YouTube channel. Yeah. And with that YouTube channel, it does take time to make the content. Yeah. But if you make search-based content and then you get good at it, then you get to make videos that people that are looking for the problems that you solve to where you can get those videos in front of people for free outside of the time that it takes to make that content. And maybe if you hire an editor, right? But it's cheaper usually than paying somebody to make an ad. And in addition to that, you get to grow a digital brand and you get to grow a community of people that know, like, and trust you. So then when you do have digital products or things like that, then you have the opportunity to have that, core base to where, they're going to be the first people to, sign up for it and to, or to buy it, whatever it is. And, those will be the first people to talk about it with others as well. So by doing that, there's lots of advantages there. In addition to that, it also opens the door for collaborations. So for example, if you're doing things in your store, that's one thing. But when it comes to being a content creator, you open up this whole additional world of sponsorships. And with that, with what it is that you're doing specifically because you have a store, you might be able to work out things to where, as a part of your sponsorship, you are also selling things in your store, with them, because you're going to be on the conversation, you're going to be opening up the conversation with those people because they're going to be reaching out to you then. But basically, you could be selling, their stuff in the store, or, you could be working with them in some way as a content creator with what it is that they're doing that will also bring attention to your business. And you can collaborate, in those types of ways. So, there's a lot of benefits when it comes to being a content creator, but it's not required, of course. But there's also the negatives. Like you're saying, it is a risk. You might make a bunch of videos and you just might not be into it. And because of that, you're not putting out, everything that you can into trying to make it better. And, because of that, maybe they don't do well and you do put in all that time and it doesn't work out. That happens more than it doesn't. So because of that, if you are going to do it, just be ready to, kind of commit to it. But there's definitely huge advantages. And I've just named a few, but there's huge advantages to being a content creator when it comes to business owners. We had a guy here that came into the chat earlier. His name's Roger Wakefield. He's a plumber. Yeah. And he was already doing well in the plumbing world, but he came onto YouTube, started making search-based videos.
Took him a while.
Took him a while to get going, and then he changed his strategy there and started going for recommendations by doing some other things. And in his particular case, his channel just completely blew up. And as a part of that, the aftershock, so to speak, of his channel blowing up is that it also increased his plumbing business, increased his networking abilities in terms of with everybody in there.
He's on television.
Right. He's doing the whole thing because he came onto YouTube, took it seriously, and leveraged it for his business. So yeah, you can absolutely do those types of things too.
I don't know how long you've been an entrepreneur. I don't know if this is your first business or not, but when you started this business, or perhaps you've had other businesses in the past, you understood that you could do all of this work and spend all of this money and put all of your time and your effort into this business and it might not succeed. That's something that as entrepreneurs that you always deal with, but you do it anyway. Right? You do it anyway. You're like, I want to do this thing for whatever reason, and you do that thing. Sometimes it works out and you make money. Sometimes you don't make money. I mean, it's just the way it goes. Sometimes some businesses work, some businesses don't work. Yep. YouTube is the same way. If you want to use social media, I'm just going to focus on YouTube. I mean, there's also Instagram Reels and Facebook and TikTok, and there's other platforms out there. I would say that you have to understand that it is a risk. You might put in the work and you might not get rewards from it. But at the same time, it could just be a skill issue. You need to learn. You need to learn how to make social media content, just like you had to learn how to run a business, just like you had to learn how to source the materials of whatever product it is that you're selling. Those are things that you had to learn as an entrepreneur. Now you have to learn something else, and that's you have to wear a different hat when it comes to YouTube or social media in general, unless you're going to hire people to make that content for you. But I would say this: that don't be afraid to switch up your strategy. Maybe you're focused right now on long form videos, and maybe that's not working. Keep working at that, but also try short form videos. Try posting on other platforms. You might find that you grow faster and connect to an audience faster on another platform. Mm-hmm. Your jam might be TikTok. It might be Instagram. It could be Facebook. Yep. It could be YouTube 3 months from now, mm-hmm. or your next video. So I would just say, since you're doing it for business, try all the different platforms. Try all sorts of different types of content. Don't box yourself into doing it one particular way. I think it comes down to, there are best practices when it comes to social media, but in terms of the content itself and how to get someone's attention and hold their attention and do something with that attention, I don't think, it's wide open. Right. There's best practices, but at the same time, there are no rules in regards to how to pull it off. Right. Some people are really creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And really quick, so Valentine Station says, so his channel did not go down the drain. No. So Roger has 129 million views on his channel. And in addition to that,
Roger's cup right here, by the way.
Yep. 129 million views, more than 129 million views on his channel, with 2 million just in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's doing great.
Valentine Station says right here, his mug is on the brother's desk. I'd say he made it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Roger's the man.
Roger's the man. So let me say this: like, he's genuinely a good. He's a good guy.
He is.
Like, Roger's one of the guys that you want. Like if you're going to an event, you're like, I hope I run into Roger.
Yeah.
Like,
you look forward to hanging out with Roger.
Even if it's he's incredibly busy, by the way. If you go to Roger to an event, he's a networking maniac. So like, even if I get to talk to Roger for 10 minutes and just give him a hug or whatever,
it's worth it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And early on, Roger was really cool. Like, we would go to the events and he would buy us like giant bags of M&Ms because we used to eat M&Ms all the time in the show. Just genuinely a good dude. Yeah. So be a good person.
Yep.
Being a good person and a creator goes a long way.
So his channel didn't go down the drain. It was a plumbing joke. I didn't get it. Completely over my head. Yeah, completely over my head. Yeah, I saw Doug mention that, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't get there's something that happened. I didn't get it. Yeah, got it now.
Listen, we're not very bright.
Got it now. Yeah.
We're not the brightest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, listen, it's 10:30 at night over here. So for those of you who are just, you're in the you're waking up, you've had your coffee, you're sharp, you've got it all together right now.
While I'm answering this next question, hop on Reddit and see if they're rioting yet over there anywhere.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
So next up, we've got Late Apex Garage. They upload, they're getting ready to start their channel too. Like, holy cow, this is like 3 in a row starting the channel. So the type of channel is the best automotive channel on the internet. I love that. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time creator. And the question is there any value to starting an Instagram account to support a YouTube channel that outweighs the time it sucks from running the channel? So here's the thing. So I have you are funny, Valentine Station. I just didn't get it, right? So I'm the problem, not you. It's me. It's not you. No, but seriously, like that was me. I should have caught that one, right? But when it comes to Instagram to support the channel, I recommend, nothing's going on yet. I don't recommend starting an Instagram channel for the sake of supporting the YouTube channel. I recommend starting a Instagram for the sake of serving the viewers who would be interested in your type of content on Instagram. Yeah. And the whole idea when it comes to like pointing everything at YouTube, you can do that. So you can use like Tube Spanner, for example, right? They have a link in bio tool. And with that link in bio tool, you can just put it in all of your different bios and you can say, hey, here's all the places you can find me. And then people that are really into what it is that you're doing, they can go and they can, find you in all those places. So you have that. But in reality, what's going to happen is people are going to log into Instagram and they're going to see your channel or your content there on Instagram. And they're like, wow, this is great. And then they might follow you on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Or maybe if they don't follow you immediately, maybe next time they show your content, they might stop and give it a little bit more consideration just because they liked the last one that you did. And then as they consistently get that good experience, then maybe they'll stick around with every video that you publish. So for me, I've been all YouTube for 10 years. And I dabble with, Instagram and I dabble with TikTok in the past. But now for the past, I think I'm running on like somewhere between like 45 and 60 days now. I'm doing almost daily content on both of those platforms and Facebook as well. And the reason for that is because there's YouTubers there. And I want to, make sure that I'm adding value to YouTubers here on YouTube. And I want to make sure that I'm adding value to YouTubers when they're on TikTok. And I want to make sure that I'm adding value to YouTubers when they're on Instagram. And the whole thing that I'm trying to do there is make sure that, I'm publishing videos that just add value. And then from there, if the accounts grow, cool. Like right now, for example, I'm experimenting. So I've got some stuff to where I have done like podcast style stuff from my place when I'm answering questions during these live streams when I do it at home. I record some clips there if I think it's going to be a good, answer. And then in addition to that, I'm also making some custom videos for there as well. So first, I'm experimenting to see, if one does better than the other with that. 2, Now, because I've been putting out longer content, because I'm thinking YouTube, so I'm like watch time, and the longer videos, some of them are, we're starting to pick up momentum. You can see my stats are going like this, right? So I'm getting there. But one of the things that I'm doing right now is for the next handful of videos I'm going to publish there, I'm trying to get them, not the ones publishing now, but the ones I'm scheduling, that will be in the queue. Once that queue point hits, then at that point, then some of the videos over there are going to start being like shorter, so that I can be like, okay, do we need to make shorter videos here? So basically I'm trying to figure out, Instagram and, TikTok. So when it comes to those platforms, it has nothing to do with my YouTube channel. Right. So it's not about, them coming over and subscribing to my YouTube channel and watching me here. People that really get into the content will, but I'm just trying to, meet people where they're at and just, show up in front of them. And then that way, if they enjoy my content there, they can enjoy it. If they happen to see my face on a thumbnail on YouTube, while they're on YouTube, if YouTube's like, hey, maybe this would be a good fit for them, and they show it in front of them, maybe they'll click on that thumbnail, but it's not my goal, right? So it's more about serving them, where they are in those places. Or where you guys are, really.
Where you is.
Yeah, so then that way, you run into me here, you run into me over there. So look for Nick Nimmin on Instagram, and look for Nimmin Nick on TikTok. I have my old TikTok is under Nick Nimmin, but unfortunately, I set that one up from the wrong location, so I had to roll with Nimmin Nick on that one. But I'm a baby over on TikTok. I've got like I think 150. Oh, it jumped up to 166. Nice. Had a good night then. But yeah, I'm just dropping a link to that one, and I'm going to drop a link to my Instagram for anybody that's interested in that. //Instagram.com. There we go. And then here's a link to the Instagram. So if you're interested in that, follow me in those places too. Because over there you get like little, quick bites of YouTube stuff. And also I'm putting more shorts on this channel as well, so I can catch YouTubers in the shorts feed. So I haven't fully ramped that up yet, but I'm pretty close. But when it comes to, doing that as well. So next up on our list here, let's see here, build a shouting explainer, starting Instagram account. Okay. So one thing that I do want to mention really quick, because you hadn't started your, late Apex did. Okay. Yeah. So we're good there. Yeah. One thing I do recommend though is if you're new, is one advantage of vertical content. Like if you can do vertical content, either on your main channel or another channel, whatever, like one of the advantages of vertical content, and I mean, you can do this with like standard, 16:9 aspect ratio videos too. But it's just it's formatted better. Is that when you make the one video, you can put it everywhere, right? So then that way, you have the one video that gets distributed across everything, instead of, just having the one video that you leave in like one place, right? So it's pretty cool in that regard. Renee Ritchie in the house. What's going on, dude? Hey man, they were eating me up earlier. So I have this best practice checklist that I'm running through, and I'm telling them like, hey, one of my things on the list is that you've been using your community feed recently, Renee. I'm like, yeah, you've been using your community feed recently, and one of the things I have on the list is that you share a video there. And the reason I'm saying to share a video there is because, when people see that, some people will click into it, and, you will get people to go into that video, get watch time, introduce them to videos they haven't seen before, that kind of stuff. And they were eating me up, saying that you recommend that people don't put videos in there. So just wanting to get your feedback on that. And I know that I think one of the things that somebody mentioned was that you had mentioned that people don't go there looking for videos. But yeah, would love to just hear your thoughts on that. Talk to bros about doing a Vid Summit meetup. Nice. Love it. Yeah, D was beating me up too. Yeah, I was getting beat up by like a few people for that. Yeah, Nick Nimmin is my TikTok, Monique, but that's on an old account. So I started a new account that's based on US. So basically, the other one I started in Thailand, and because of that, like most of my viewership and everything like that is mostly Thailand. But I started one with a US SIM card, and then I'm using my VPN and all that stuff to upload videos. So I'm getting mostly a Western audience with a little bit of Thai. So I did that for that particular reason. Let's see here. So next up on the list, he says, I don't have a recommendation, but the system will try to make sure you don't try to double dip / spam the same videos. It's typically not as interesting for viewers as original content there. Okay, good. Like that feedback. Nice. Yeah, so what you mean by that is basically if I publish a video today, don't go and publish that video in my community feed trying to get some extra activity. Yeah, my approach and the thing that that I do and recommend is like because everybody's interacting with the channel, they might not get recommended everything. So when you have high performing videos that do well, then it's an opportunity to kind of re-engage people into those videos. They don't perform well in terms of likes and stuff in the community feed, but you can see, in the actual video stats that people, click through and enjoy the video.
Did you just say don't?
Yeah, Renee's in here.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Yeah, so I was just getting clarity on the thing.
Did he say don't?
He says he doesn't have a recommendation on it, but he says that they recommend that you, the system will try to make sure that you don't try to double dip and spam the same videos. So I think that might also mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically like if I'm like, hey, watch this video, and then the next day, watch this video, next day, watch this video, to where it's just like constantly plugging that same video over and over again. Yeah, so I think that's the way it sounds is that's part of the viewer experience like everything else. So, treat people, fairly, don't constantly be trying to cram stuff down their throat, but, so yeah, it's good. Yeah, appreciate the clarification.
Hope you're doing well, Renee.
So next up on the list here, we have Ben Abay is the next channel. They upload 1 time per week or more. Been on YouTube for a year or more. They do culture content. The goal is to quit their job. And the question is my channel not specific enough? I feel like it's broad enough for me to not run out of ideas, but not specific enough to have a consistent audience. So yeah, when it comes to YouTube and running out of ideas, that's a fear a lot of people have as a content creator, and that's one of the things that makes people like not like niche down. And when I say niche down, I don't necessarily mean like put a huge limitation on your content, but what I mean by that is more about think about. Okay, let me do it this way. So when you make something, like let's say that you make a a product of some kind. When you make that product of some kind, it's best practice to figure out who it is that you're making that product for, right? So you can make sure that the packaging is right for those people. So you can make sure that the product works efficiently for those people. So you can make sure that the product is useful for the people that you're trying to serve that product. Those types of things. It's the same exact thing when it comes to YouTube. The idea is to think about, okay, so I have this channel and I have this opportunity to turn this channel into a resource of content for people that are interested in these very specific things that are either directly related to each other or have a lot of overlap in some way. And when you look at it that way, then what happens is you start making it really easy, one, to get known for something, two, for people to binge watch your content, three, for YouTube's system, when they're recommending your content to people, to just be super fine-tuned and laser targeted in terms of, if I watch one of your videos today, one of your recent videos, and I absolutely love it, then YouTube could recommend, this is what you want, the goal that you want ultimately. YouTube could recommend me almost anything on your channel, and because I'm the type of viewer that really enjoyed your most recent video, then when they recommend me pretty much anything else on your channel, it's also going to be a really good fit for me, and I have a really high likelihood of clicking on it and coming in and enjoying that content because I love the other one so much, right? That's kind of the idea. So it's more about figuring out who it is that you're trying to reach and serve with your content than it is like, oh, I'm putting these limits on myself with this content. It's just about, okay, I'm making this resource, so how can I make this resource as good as possible? So if it's entertainment content, then like what type of entertainment am I doing? So for example, you might be doing entertainment for people that are just looking at your photo here. Let's say you're like early 20s, then in that particular case, you would talk about things, for the relatability factor with you. You would talk about things that, that age group, might be entertained by, or you would do things or show things that age group might be entertained by. If it was older people, then you would make things relevant to them. Same thing goes with like little nuanced things that you do in your videos, references that you make when you're talking about things, right? Like you'll hear D a lot talking about like, like old bands and things like that. And for the older people that are hanging out in the chat, they can relate to that, right? I can relate to that. So, when he talks about those things, it's like, oh yeah, here's this like common thing we all, relate to.
Like Spaceballs.
And Spaceballs.
You kids don't know anything about that.
Right, in Spaceballs. So because of that, like when you create your channel, for that type of viewer, then it just helps ensure that everything that you're doing is a good fit for them, and that helps you in every imaginable way when it comes to YouTube.
Kids don't know nothing about Spaceballs.
Yep.
The Mel Brooks era.
Yep. And Renee Mitch is here. Try to make as many people as possible who enjoyed your last video will also enjoy your next video. That builds trust, and they'll be more likely to click you as a no-brained click than a risk assessment. Yep. I think that's one of the cool things about like shorts and vertical platforms in general is, like you can start picking up momentum in terms of like, okay, you first start publishing videos, they've never seen you before. And because of that, you don't have anybody that has been like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. But then you have that one person that watches it and is like, yeah, this is good stuff. And then the next person that watches it is like, yeah, this is good stuff. And then now you have 5 people that have seen your face and think you make good stuff. And then when you publish your next video and it gets shown in front of them, then they're like, oh yeah, this person has good stuff. Like, what is this? And they give it just a little bit more consideration. And the next thing you know, they watch everything you publish because they always get, good stuff out of it.
Yeah.
So
somebody asked, where did it go? Nope, lost it. Never mind.
Lost it. Bless you. So next up on the list here, we've got Schmoke's Shop. Bless you again. They upload 1 time per week or more. Come on, D, give us a third one. Give us a third one. Is that it? Yeah, it's off. Yeah. So they do DIY mechanical content, but on YouTube for less than a year. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what I like. And the question is, why is my most recent video, which I thought was pretty darn good, thumbnails, titles, etc., not performing? So I think that, you can probably answer that question better than I can in terms of you have the back end information on that video. So sometimes, and this is just a normal thing that happens to us as content creators. So first off, your thumbnail in your latest video, it's clear that it has something to do with, motorcycles. And, but the topic isn't like super interesting. So here you have this 2005 Vulcan has been sitting for 12 years. Just not a super interesting thing. Like there's no like, like, are you trying to do something with that Vulcan? Did you, find that Vulcan like hidden somewhere? Like, is there like a story of some kind behind it? That's just not clear from the outside. Actually, you do have will it run? So you do kind of have that a little bit. But one thing to think about when it comes to YouTube, and we all have to kind of face this mirror, is that when we publish videos to the platform, we are making things based on our own personal biases. And therefore, it's really hard for us, for all of us, to be able to look at what it is that we do and say like, oh yeah, we definitely have to fix this, or we definitely have to fix this, or we definitely have to fix this. That's where having like friends who make content can be helpful, to where they can, just shoot you a message like, hey, I saw, this in your video, and, kind of give you some tips, around their perspective of it. That's where those types of things can be really helpful, because sometimes, like we're making things the best that we can for that moment. But that may or may not be something that viewers respond to, because at the end of the day, when it comes to what's good on YouTube, it all comes down to how people respond to it. So it's not your camera quality. It's not necessarily the audio quality. In some cases, it's not your thumbnails or even your titles. I mean, those things are super important, but the whole thing, like sometimes people will write basic titles. They'll use screenshots for their thumbnails, but as soon as somebody goes into that video, they just tell a really interesting story, or they keep that person entertained in some way with a camera that doesn't even look that good, using the built-in audio on their phone, for the microphone. But the story's good, and it's all good enough that the viewer responds well to it, and then the videos blow up. So when it comes to YouTube, as much as like you still want to, have your own, thoughts, like, yeah, okay, this is good for my people and all that. But, sometimes like we think something is good and viewers just don't respond to it in the way that we hoped that they would. And that's just a normal part of, what it is that we do. The trick is, or the skill is trying to learn over time, like, okay, when I do these things, they seem to respond better than when I do these things, and just noticing those patterns over time, and then kind of building everything, around those patterns.
Yeah, it's painful sometimes. You put the work in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're like, oh, they're going to love this. And then, like, crickets.
Here, Yeah, I mean, I always target search because I love that evergreen content.
Yeah.
And if I look, okay, well, if there's channels that are similar to mine and they're doing similar tutorials, what's doing well right now? And I'll look, I'm like, oh, that channel is doing well for this particular topic. This is doing well for this particular, and I'll find these videos that are doing well for multiple channels. And I'll watch the videos, and I every single time I find something like, wow, they really left this part out or whatever, I can do this video better, or I can do my version of the video. It just nosedives. That doesn't mean that 6 months later it doesn't pick up, but it's planting that seed, watering it, and hoping that it's going to grow. If I did everything right, it grows, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes you do everything, you think you did everything right, and you put it out there, this doesn't work.
Hey, as a quick reminder for everybody, really quick, because I just want to make sure that I mention this, because I've only mentioned it, I think, like one other time during the stream. Just a quick reminder, just in case you didn't know, in case you haven't been here for last week and the week before. So I put out an app recently for iPhone users that are YouTubers. So if you are a YouTube content creator, this app it has a content calendar in it where you can, schedule your content, just kind of keep track of what's coming. You have home screen widgets, all of that stuff, so that you can, just kind of stay on top of all those things. It has features in there to help you keep all of your video ideas and that sort of thing in one spot. It has the Video Idea Explorer to help you come up with an unlimited amount of video ideas and a bunch of other helpful things for you too. But you can try that for yourself for free, so you can see if you like it or not at that QR code, or you can go to newcreator.app, which is pinned at the top of the chat right now, and you can check that out. So for the Android requests, it's not available for Android yet. It is on the roadmap. It's probably going to take me about 6 months probably to get that out. Right now, I'm focusing on making it as good as possible for iPhone users, and then once I have that completely locked in, I've got all the feedback taken care of and all that stuff, then in that case, that's when I'll start exploring the Android side, so that when it goes live over there, it's already perfect based on the feedback that I get from people on the iPhone. But so far, the feedback has all been good. So I've only had to make a couple of adjustments so far, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, you can also test your thumbnails in there too, which is cool. So you upload your thumbnails into it, and then it gives you a full report on all the things that you can do to make your thumbnails better too. But make sure you check that out at newcreator.app. So next up, we've got Cozy Diaries. Cozy Diaries does bi-weekly content. They do cozy lifestyle videos. The question is, how do I know if my YouTube channel is turning into a variety channel? I want my channel to be a cozy, slow living lifestyle focus, and recently I've been posting decluttering and monthly cleaning videos. I've noticed those videos perform better than others, but I don't want my channel to become only about cleaning and organizing. I still want to create other cozy content like seasonal resets, home vlogs, and everyday lifestyle moments. Should I continue posting a mix of both, or would that confuse my audience and push my channel into variety territory? So this is where, when you do start experimenting with other content types, this is where, the challenge can come in. Because when you start posting some other stuff and people like that better, then you're like, okay, well, heck, I don't want to turn into that type of channel, right? So things that I think are out of alignment with that is, you have a read with me here, right? And that has lo-fi study music. So in a situation like that, that's probably not going to be the best for, for somebody that's actively, doing cleaning related stuff. And then here you've got an IKEA, Amazon home refresh, small changes that make a big difference. So I think some of it does, kind of crossover. So, you are the IKEA stuff is about home related things. The spring cleaning is about home related things. Starting an online business, not so much. The home reset, absolutely home related stuff. Cozy office upgrade, totally winning on that one. Slow living days, cozy cooking in a week of spring weather. That one's kind of, borderline. March 2025 reset, cleaning motivation and refresh. Yeah. So it looks like a lot of your stuff is just around the house type of stuff. So I think you're okay. The thing that I would be cautious about is doing reading sessions and lo-fi study music and stuff like that. And if you are going to do those types of things, frame them towards the people that are interacting with your content. So instead of it being like a cozy reading session, do like, like I wouldn't even put like a lo-fi music thing on there. But if you were going to, then in that case, I would make it about, I mean, you said you don't want to do a cleaning, so maybe like an organizing or, something like that. So instead of it being like a focus with me, it would be like, clean with me or organize with me, something like that. But, again, you got to be careful because, you don't want to turn it into that, even though it looks like everything here everything you're doing is house related stuff. And Renee mentions, he says, remember, creators can post anything they want. The gating factor isn't the algorithm. It's our desire for maximum views for every video. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
Elliot the Juggler says, is the app like vidIQ?
No, it's different. So there are some vidIQ like features in there, like for example, like the Video Idea Explorer, where it helps you come up with video ideas. Like I have that, but this is more about like managing and organizing everything it is that you're doing, not necessarily like trying to get your videos to show up in search. That's what vidIQ is. This is more about like organizing everything and getting like your getting it all together versus trying to help you rank your videos in search, because even though like search is huge, like like Dee mentioned earlier, he targets search, most creators, that isn't the path, right? So because of that, I'm not focused on those things. I'll probably add them in the future, but it's not what I'm focused on for that. So next up on the list here, we've got English Woodsman. They upload 1 time per week or more. And the type of channel is wild camping and great outdoors content. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what I like. And the question is, hey, brothers from the same mother,
hey,
what is happening? Says, do you think YouTube could be more fairer if YouTube didn't show views under the home screen, but we see them in YouTube Studio? No, I think those types of things are good for content creators and for viewers, because it does give people some insights on if other people, have enjoyed that video or not. And the thing that happens there is it's like, wow, this has a good view on it. There are a lot of views on it. It's about a topic that I care about. So, it must probably be a good video if it has a lot of views on it.
I think we need some sort of metric.
I think it's a good indicator.
Yeah, we need some sort of a metric to gauge the video success and the overall channel success with, I think, right? Otherwise, you're just putting stuff up into the void, and you don't know if it's connecting or not. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it would be advantageous. Like, I'm sure they've experimented with this.
Maybe not a public view, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
well, that's what they're talking about, is a public view.
Oh, public view only.
Yeah, to where, like, if you go onto YouTube's homepage, that has view counts. Yeah, they're saying if you remove that. So I think it would be, from an experimental standpoint, they would get eaten alive. But I think that it would be interesting, because if you didn't have that view count, then it would be kind of like Netflix, where you're just kind of clicking on stuff and hoping that it works out, and you don't have that additional context. So it might be interesting.
A rating
but as
system?
a viewer, I like it though, because then I can, just knowing how YouTube works and all that stuff, I can be like, okay, this is probably a really good video if it's got a bunch of views.
Would a rating system be better than a view count? Because that's how, like, if you go to Amazon or Netflix, or like a lot, I don't know if Netflix does, but a lot of them have like a rating system on them.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Like, like a star system. Maybe, and maybe that happens. Maybe people can, I mean, it could probably be gamed.
Yeah.
But you're right. You go into Netflix. I think Netflix doesn't have ratings.
Yeah, it's just raw on Netflix.
But
no
some of the
whatsoever.
others have rating systems in there.
The best thing that Netflix has that's even remotely close to that is just like, the 1 out of 10. In terms of like, these are the top 10 videos like in this area, or the top, 10 new videos or whatever, like those types of things. But in terms of the actual content itself, like when you're clicking on it, you just got to hope that it's good. And you're looking for like, okay, is this actor? Do I know these actors? That kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing with
Babe,
Netflix.
what else did she play in?
right. It's that.
Where did we see her? Didn't we see her in Interstellar? No, that wasn't Interstellar. That was the last Star Trek.
Right.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Ninja Monkey says they would quit if people started to rate. Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't think a rate system would be that bad. I mean, it's just, and a rate could just simply be like a.
Well, I mean, that's what the thumbs up are, but the dislike, is gone. So that,
right, but you can just rate it.
Yeah.
I mean, how does rating work for anything else?
Yeah.
How do you rate? You just give it 5 stars or 4 stars, and it just does the math on that.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, Renee says it could be worse. Clicking is a risk. View count de-risk. Without that, you have Jimmy's face, like Netflix has celebrity faces. Yeah. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
In terms of the faces.
Yeah. There used to be stars. Really? Did YouTube used to have stars?
I guess so.
Yeah.
That must be like old.
Yeah, I think that would be
YouTube.
kind of cool. Just 5 stars. Because then you have, okay, view count by itself doesn't necessarily mean much. Like I have some videos with crazy view counts, but the audience retention is absolutely terrible because they clicked in, they didn't stay. I mean, compared to other videos, right? If you compare it against other videos of the same timeline or the same length, it did well. But just like the video, you know, by itself didn't do very well. But
well, it did because it got a lot of views on it. It's just based on the impressions, it pushed those metrics down.
Right. But if you look at, but just looking at the audience retention to see how people actually responded, right? Did they watch the video? They clicked into it, but did they actually watch the video? Just abysmal for a couple of those. But it looks great. Yeah. Right. But if I would love to be able to see,
and compared to other videos, it held up too.
And compared to other videos. Yeah. But it would be more helpful to me as a viewer if I could look at an actual rating system. Point being is those views can actually be misleading to a point, right? But
yeah, because you don't know where they came from and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, still,
but like
even if they came,
system.
like the only place that you would kind of lose on that one is external. Because anything on platform, like it's still a good indicator of the video being a good video.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless there was just no competition for that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Anyway, I'm big on the rating. Yeah. Give me the stars.
Ninja Monkey, they upload 1 time per week or more. They do Japan travel content. The goal is to be a full-time creator.
Look, when you look up something on IMDb.
The question is, how long should one experiment with video styles and ideas, especially as it might take time for videos to find an audience, even within the same niche? So I recommend experimenting until you find something that you know you want to make. Like if you're new and you are... Well, you've been on YouTube for a year or more. So, yeah, you should probably be clear on what it is that you want to make. And if not, then, keep experimenting until you do find something that you want to make. But you say here that you do Japanese travel content. So if you do Japan travel content, then that's what you do. So in terms of, the video styles and ideas, with that, experiment, you're saying how long should one experiment with? So experiment long enough to give it time. So, publish, 5 to 10 videos. If you're testing like formats and stuff, publish like 5 to 10 videos like that and make sure you give it like 3 months before you make any like real judgments on it. And the whole idea there is you don't have to do them all back to back. You can just kind of seed them in. And then sometimes right away, you'll be like, man, out of these videos, I've done, 4 of these and all of them have not done well right out of the gate, but let's stay on this, experiment so that I can, at least give these time and see if any of these start picking up at all. So that's kind of the idea, is that you just want to make sure that you do give it enough time, like let's say 3 months, so that you can make sure that, that people have had a chance to, interact with that content in terms of, the right people seeing it and, all of that good stuff, or maybe even viewers scouring your channel and running across it.
So I was going to say, are you finished?
Just one thing real quick.
Good.
Yeah, I've had videos on my channel personally that I started a series called Mobile Monday. And on that series, the whole thing was about, I was going to talk about content creator for mobile creators on that Monday. This is before D started his channel about mobile. And that series, I think I did like 3 videos, and all of them were just complete garbage in terms of how they responded when I first published the videos. But shortly after those videos had been on the platform for a little bit, they found the right audience, and they just blew up. And I think 1 or 2 of them ended up being primary traffic drivers of my channel for quite some time. Now I think at least one of them has over 1 million, maybe 2 million views on it. Some of them have hundreds of thousands of views. So I stopped that series. Back then I stopped that series before I gave it any time, right? So when you do consulting stuff with people, one of the things that you'll find is that people will also try to get you to commit to like a 3-month period. And the reason that they do that is because, things take time to work, right? So, when you publish a video and you're looking at that video right now while you're doing an experiment, and you're like, oh, that didn't work, and it's only been online for a day or, a few days, you're not really giving it time to actually, for people to even experience it. So because of that, 3 months should give you, what you need in terms of knowing if it's, if it's something that people are going to be into or not. But if you notice everything you're doing, they're not responding to it for the experiments, and in that case, you can stop it, but just monitor those videos that you did before to see if they do get legs later. I travel enough in Japan to be able to make it work. Nice. Yeah, I got engaged in Japan.
right. You
Pretty
did.
cool. Yep.
Kyoto, right?
Yep. In Kyoto. Yep. Underneath the sakuras, nighttime with like the little uplighting glow. It's awesome.
Yep.
Absolutely awesome.
Nobody filmed it.
Yep.
Nobody took pictures of
Yeah.
it.
Well, they did, but I didn't ask for the pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's
should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were taking pictures and videos. Oh, right. You're getting that. Yeah. But
And
yeah.
then nobody
I didn't-
thought to
No,
like,
I just did. Like I was just like just pumped up about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even think about like getting videos or photos.
yeah.
So
Like that would have been somebody.
yeah. Yeah.
has
Somebody somewhere has some cool. Yeah. has some cool
Somebody
stuff.
has spectacular pictures of somebody getting engaged under the sakura trees at nighttime
right.
in Kyoto
Yep.
with all the lights and all that stuff. And they're like, wow, I wish we knew who these people were.
Right. Right.
I would love to put them out.
Yeah.
I'd love to put them out there. I'd love to send these to the people.
Right. Oh, well. Elliot the Juggler. They do daily content, but on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do tutorials, challenges, and entertainment. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, sometimes I am a video and it gets 1,000 views and others gets less than 100, and I don't know why. People respond to them differently. Sometimes it's the topic. Sometimes it's the decisions that you're making around the thumbnails and titles. Sometimes it's what happens once they enter the video. But when it comes to YouTube and just video performance, there's a lot of different variables. And sometimes you just miss the mark, right? Yeah. Sometimes you're more in alignment with what your viewers want, or at least the people that YouTube's showing them to what they want. And then other times you might be a little bit out of alignment with that, and you'll see it reflected in those videos that you publish, right? Like the whole idea when it comes to YouTube is just over time figuring out, when I do these things, people typically respond better. When I do these things, they don't. Therefore, let me do more of these things that they respond to better and less of these things that they don't, if and only if the thing that you're trying to do is grow the channel as fast as you possibly can. But if you're like, hey, I'm trying to grow the channel, but also trying to make sure that I'm putting stuff out that I enjoy. So because of that, I'm going to put out some of these as well, even though they don't do as well. Then in that case, you can do that too. It's fine. It just all comes down to your personal goals and what it is that you're trying to do.
Wow, the chat just disappeared. Did you see that?
No, mine's fine on my side. I had it crash earlier though.
Oh, how weird. Yep, it's back.
Blind Bard, 1 time per week or more. The question is, I'm using Streamlabs. Is it possible to stream long form to YouTube and at the same time vertical to TikTok? I think so. I think you can do that in Streamlabs.
Stream to TikTok as well?
Yeah, they have they have it to where you can.
I haven't logged into Streamlabs in a long time.
Yeah, so basically they have it to where you have a main window and then they have a little vertical window as well. So basically it's the same thing. Yeah. But it's the same thing, and then you basically just make sure everything's positioned right in the vertical window, and then you can multicast.
Didn't know that.
Simulcast in that case, yeah. Next, we've got Nas Trades. They upload every other day. The type of channel is teaching trading strategies. And the question is, I'm getting CTR around 5 to 9%, but I feel YouTube is not pushing the impressions much. Well, the thing is YouTube doesn't push content. So one of the things that YouTube staff has tried to make clear over the last few years is that when it comes to YouTube, content creators have this idea that when you publish a video that YouTube pushes it and it tries to show it to as many people as possible. But they've made it very clear that how it works is YouTube pulls the content that is the best fit for the viewer, either when they're on YouTube. So if you just publish something and they're already on YouTube, then on that next page load, they might get recommended your content if their system thinks that they are a really good candidate for that video and they're likely to enjoy it. Or as they're logging onto YouTube, then they will pull that content from your channel, essentially. But this happens at a large scale, obviously. But they pull that content from your channel and they show it to those viewers that their system thinks is most likely to enjoy that content. So it's not like YouTube promotes it. It's when viewers are, the right candidate for it, then YouTube will pull that video or push. I mean, I guess it is push. It's semantics, I guess. But they will put that, content in front of, those people that are the most likely to enjoy it. But it's not like a shotgun approach, right? To where it's like, hey, they publish, let's just go, blah. It's more like, okay, these are the people, that are the most likely to have a good experience with this content. So let's show it to them and see how they respond. Next, we've got Fear Oracle. I'm scared already. They do gruesome crimes, bizarre incidents, and disappearances. Goal is to quit their full-time job or make it their full-time job. And the Question is, when doing a community post as a teaser for my upcoming video, how far ahead of the video release should I post the teaser, and should I post the thumbnail as the teaser or some images of what happened in my video that might grab attention instead? I would do the images, actually. So I would do the images and like ask questions about those images, like let them know that it's coming, that kind of thing, and see how people respond to that. You also have the opportunity, like if you're doing this as a promo, then in that case, you have the opportunity to get feedback also before you publish that video in terms of, like an image poll, to where it's like, which one of these, would you be the most interested in, or which one would you fear the most, or, however it is that you want to frame it based on the information that you need. You would put those in there and then let your viewers, pick on those things. And then that way it just starts to, help you be able to fine tune, what it is that they want, out of the content. So yeah, so I'd do that. And on that note, I do want to remind you, if you are a new content creator, that YouTube does come with a learning curve.
It does.
If you are publishing videos and you are, frustrated and you're just like, man, this is like, I'm just having such a hard time, like kind of breaking through this. Just, remember that it is a learning curve, and that just like anything else that you're going to do, if you start a new job, you have a bunch of stuff you got to learn. If you start a new subject, if you're in school, there's a lot of stuff you got to learn. If you start new hobbies, there's a lot of stuff that you have to learn. YouTube is the same exact way, but the things that are going to get you the farthest, in a lot of cases, it's not watching videos on like how to hack the algorithm or anything like that. It's more about like learning how to develop the skills to be able to be a good content creator, and having a good understanding of what it is that you're trying to accomplish in terms of big picture with your channel, and the viewers that you're going to be serving with the content that you're publishing, and understanding who it is that they are and what they want from you. Like focusing on those things are going to get you way further than watching a video on like how to hack the algorithm or anything like that. So just make sure that as a new content creator or somebody that's just trying to break through, just make sure that you are focused on the skill development side, because that's the way, right? Because the more that you learn about this, and the more you develop your skills, the easier it is for you to see things that you might not be as in tune with, right now, but you will be as you continue to work on your skills. But hang in there. You got this. D, great stream.
Great stream. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Yep, have a great rest of your week. And just as one last quick reminder, if you do have an iPhone and you're a YouTuber, which you are because you're hanging out here, make sure you go check out my app. It's awesome. I'm getting great feedback on it. So make sure that you go check out the app. It's in the App Store called New Creator.
Do you have a link in the description?
Yeah, I do have a link in the description and at the top of the chat. So just make sure you go check it out. And yeah, we'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Cheers. Take care. And be safe over there today, by the way, if you're in the States, because I don't know what's going on. I've seen all this stuff on the internet, but I'm not over there, so I don't know what's happening. But whatever it is that's going on, parade. Yeah, enjoy the parade. Be safe with with anything that you happen to get involved with. Just be safe, and yeah, we'll see you next weekend.
Yep, see you next weekend.
Yep.
Hit the sub button, hit the like button. If you're having fun, comment, type something. If you're laying back, leaning and engage, just take a second to smash the whole page.